Styles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Wednesday, and it is a Wednesday. I'm still waiting. I mean, Media Day really took a toll on these guys, right? I mean, Monday was a great time. Then Tuesday, Nate is sweating so much, he's got to take a day off. And now Chris Watkins under the weather. So now it's me and Nate today, but no Chris Watkins. We're still taking up to 2 p.m. Styles and Watkins, and we got Chris on lock. We'll take care of him, and hopefully he'll be back soon. But Media Day is not for the faint of heart, Nate. I'll tell you that much right now. It is not for the faint of heart. You better be ready. You better be ready.
It wasn't my choice not to be here yesterday.
That's also.
Well, I showed up. They sent me home.
You were excited.
I was excited
to go home.
No, I was actually. Never mind. This is a very personal conversation.
Okay.
I would have rather slept in.
There you go. I don't hate you for it, but you're here now.
Oh, thanks.
You're here now. We got a great show. Vic Tafer joins us of The Athletic at 1:15, and that is going to really tie up all of these loose pieces and loose knots on Davantae Adams. Essentially, Vic will be walking out of the Raiders locker room when we talk to him. So we will have the most fresh information on the situation with Davantae Adams. So that is at 1:15, the last hour of the show. We are also giving away Mike Epps tickets. So we have that for you as well. That is at 1 p.m. And we have more interviews. Speaking of Media Day, we have more interviews in case you did miss them. We have Monte McNair today at 11 o'clock. We have Mike Brown at 12 o'clock, and we have Malik Monk at 1 o'clock. So we will have all of that for you if you miss it. And now I'm seeing Nate just handed this to me. We're actually doing the giveaway at 11:30. That's what it says on the sheet. So we are going to do the Mike Epps giveaway at 11:30. I don't know, Nate. I get made fun of a lot by my family because I like a system, right? I don't like getting thrown off, and it feels weird giving away these tickets at 11:30.
Yeah, anytime there's a wrench thrown into a scenario, I get a little jazz. So, and then just showing up on a Wednesday here, like this is my first regular day this week. Everything's messed up.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is my first time.
You'll be okay, I promise.
Thanks.
We'll be okay. 11:30, Mike Epps tickets. You know him, you love him. Mike Epps returns to Sacramento for a night of nonstop laughs. And of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 11:30. We will pick that lucky caller to score that pair of tickets. Check out Mike Epps at Hard Rock Live on October 12th, courtesy of Live Nation. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com. It feels like Mike Epps was just out here. He must love Sacramento. So Mike Epps is out here once again, October 12th, and 11:30. You have a chance to win those tickets. Now, let's get to this Davantae Adams drama, if you will. And I hate using that word drama if that's not exactly what it is, but it does seem like this is drama, right? And by the way, we have Brock Purdy. We got your Niners for you, of course, and we have some sounds from the Giants presser that is in the 12 o'clock hour. So we will hear from Greg Johnson and Buster Posey, the man himself, the new president of baseball operations. But back to Davantae Adams. First and foremost, this is from Jacina Anderson, and she says, Adams update. My understanding as of this morning is that the Jets are currently focusing on getting prepared to play the Vikings and leaving for London. However, regarding yesterday's news of Davantae Adams' reported trade requests, there will at least be due diligence and research for current assessments on the Las Vegas receiver, just like some other teams are doing. It's part of the job for NFL clubs to at least consider opportunities to improve as the countdown to the November 5th trade deadline draws near. This makes sense while Adams is likely assessing his postseason prospects at this stage in his career. his previous quarterback connections and or potential better ones compared to his current experience and his overall contentment in his current situation. She goes on to say, meanwhile, I'm told the Steelers do have preliminary interest in at least discussing a potential trade for Davantae Adams. Per source, Pittsburgh is separate from comments made by sources yesterday in this ongoing thread. So there you have it, Nate. It looks like all the teams that Davantae Adams has connections to. He wants to kind of end this thing the way he started it. As Dave said, he turns 32 on Christmas Eve. And this also came out. This was from Adam Schefter. There are 2 teams high on Davantae Adams' wish list of places to land, if not at the very top. And you can guess them, the Jets and the Saints, per league sources. Adams ideally would like to play with a QB. He knows the Jets have former teammate Aaron Rodgers and the Saints have former teammate Derek Carr. This thing seems like it went left very quickly, Nate, but that is why we are going to talk to Vic Tafur at 1:15, because yesterday Vic put out something that said basically this was going to get explored before the trade deadline, and the situation that happened essentially escalated it. Now, there's been a lot of conversation, and this is what we want to clear up with Vic. So yesterday, we kind of got on Antonio Pierce for liking that photo video on social media. Not to say that he is in the right, but there are essentially reports that Davantae Adams, there's some conflicting reports saying Davantae Adams had requested the trade prior to whatever day that was that Antonio Pierce liked it. So some people are trying to assume that Antonio Pierce during the Browns game knew that Davantae Adams wanted out. Other people are saying that it's a bit confusing because the team kept talking about Max Crosby, Davantae Adams, and how influential they were helping the team get that win. And then other people are countering by saying that doesn't mean that Antonio Pierce didn't know. Maybe the players didn't know. So we're trying to clear all this up, and hopefully Vic Tafur can help with that. But ultimately, all drama, all reality TV put aside, Davantae Adams wants out. And, you know, the funny thing for me, Nate, and I think in life, it's hard to figure out the balance on this, because when you are in a situation, you don't want to give up too quickly. You want to show that you are committed, and you want to show that you're really trying your best to make the best of a situation. But then on the other side of things, if something isn't working, you can't waste your time. And if you're 31 years old, turning 32, a wide receiver in this league who, you know, all those years in Green Bay, crazy numbers, but they never got to the Super Bowl. They never, you know, made it that far in the postseason. You don't want to waste your time. And I think Davantae Adams wanted to show, like we said, from East Palo Alto, shout out Bay Area, from the Bay Area, even though the Raiders aren't in the Bay Area anymore, some connections to the Bay, connections to the Raiders, wanted to play for Derek Carr. Derek Carr gets shipped to New Orleans or signs with New Orleans, still wants to show, hey, if you bring somebody else in, I'm still down. And then they said, okay, we'll bring somebody in, Gardner Minshew. And it just got, before that, Jimmy Garoppolo. I think if maybe they went to, not that this is possible because he was on the Colts, if they had went to a Gardner Minshew level player before Jimmy, maybe this thing doesn't end the way that it does. But I use the comparison all the time with my dad. My dad used to love to, you know, when the car needed to get fixed, just take it to his buddy, and the buddy would just fix it, and it would be fixed for a couple months, and then we'd have to take it back. Now, it was cheaper than taking it to an official place, but we're in the shop every couple months. And I think that Davantae Adams said, okay, you went with Jimmy Garoppolo, so you went in the shop. Can we just figure out a way to just get the car fixed, and then I'm down to continue to drive the car? And when the Raiders brought in Gardner Minshew, they went back to their buddy's place again to fix their car. And Davantae Adams said, I'm too old. I'm literally too old for this. I can't do it. And that's where we stand now.
Yeah, for me, this is really weird timing, right? Like, this is week 4 after a win.
Yeah.
Well, week 5 now, right? I know he didn't play last week. He had 9 targets the previous week. So I didn't watch the whole Panthers game. I know it was a total letdown on the Raiders front, but he's getting the targets. It's super weird that this wasn't public before the season started, right? Everyone was talking about Davantae Adams. There's rumors. I believe, didn't he come out and even say like, hey, I'm going to rock with this team.
Yeah, he's been denying it the whole time.
Yeah.
And the receiver thing, I think the receiver thing is when people started not believing what he was saying. Because he went on the tour while receiver was going on, and everybody is watching you basically just
be mad,
be ticked off. I mean, just clearly you can't sit there and say I want to be here as we're watching how upset you are. And then on top of that, what was he on? He was on Club Shay Shay with Shannon Sharp saying that he wants to bring back Tom Brady. So he didn't even spend the summer saying, I want to see what Gardner Minshew has. He just kept saying,
well, it was a lot of AOC.
It was
a lot of AOC talk.
It was a lot of AOC talk. But he clearly, the thing about it is there was a lot of AOC talk because he clearly was not juiced on the Raiders bringing in Gardner Minshew. So he's at least I know what AOC can and can't do. So I think that he got caught in a situation where maybe he thought he'd already be gone. I don't know what he thought, but once receiver aired, there was really no going back.
That was kind of the floodgates opening up. Yeah, I saw someone in the crowd at the Raiders game last week with a bring back AOC sign. It's like, are you like what? Please don't represent the franchise like that.
There was one. He had that good preseason. And we were all drinking the AOC Kool-Aid, and then he played a real game and a couple real games, and he was completely – I mean, I'd go with Jarrett Stidham over AOC. What are we talking about? At least he was cooking the Niners. They lost, but that was one of the most exciting games I've seen the last couple years, and it was not
fell apart after that. But
he was never the same. You win that game,
Stidham.
This is what we talk about. You win that game, and who knows? Your trajectory just maybe you play. You definitely get a look.
You ride that wave that's like Hawk Tua kind of. You take that and you transfer that.
That's the third most listened to podcast, by the way.
That's crazy.
Yeah, you lose that game, and it was just, hey, this is a good game. Let's see what he does next. Did nothing, and he was done. But whether it's Jarrett Stidham, whether it's AOC, whether it's Gardner Minshew, Davantae Adams says none of them are for me. Coming up next, we hear from Ian Rappaport, who basically gives us a lay on the land on how we got here. Then a little bit later in the first hour, we get to De'Aaron Fox after the first practice for the Kings. What did he have to say about the new star wearing the purple and black DeMar DeRozan? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The Sacramento Kings play here.
He's got the triple. Sacramento takes the lead. Outstanding ball movement by Sacramento.
Every triple, every jam, every Kings win.
Sabonis with the jam over the Joker. He's got the three-point shot.
Get your Kings fix all season long.
Right here on your home of the Sacramento Kings.
Here's a steal by Fox, the breakaway. He's got the rip with the left hand.
Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all four arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all.
Model year-end savings are going on now. It's savings you just can't say no to.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
Number one claims based on 2023 total new and non-certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Automotive Company's Old Bone Report.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Davantae Adams is on the move. Let's open up the phone lines, 916-339-1140. We'll ask you the same question that Carmichael Dave asked me. You can answer it from the Raiders side. You can answer it from the Niners side. You can answer it from any side, really. Davantae Adams for Brandon Ayuk straight up. You doing it? Why or why not? Let us know. 916-339-1140 on the Folsom Lake Honda hotline. But we want to get to Ian Rappaport to kind of give a breakdown of how in the world we got here. Right before we play this, Nate, this is from about 30 minutes ago from Diana Rossini. My biggest takeaway from conversations with teams around the league, ? Many involved or have checked in believe the Jets are the team that will get this trade done. The first comment makes sense. Reddick and a pick should get it done. And now people are wondering, why would the Raiders want Hassan Reddick? The Raiders have a bunch of money in the D-line already. And Hassan Reddick obviously wants that new contract. Yeah, let's trade drama for more drama. Now, obviously, from the Jets side, it would be the easiest to trade Hassan Reddick, but I guess the Raiders would have to have some type of agreement with Hassan Reddick that you're going to play. Now, this guy's been holding out. We don't even know what type of shape he's in. We've seen it with Brandon Ayuk, speaking of Brandon Ayuk. But Diana Rossini believes that the Jets are the team that will get this trade done. So that puts Garrett Wilson at an electric number 2 receiver who his numbers haven't really been reflecting. But you get both of those guys, an offense that has just been very confused with Breece Hall kind of underperforming. They just put up 9 points against the Broncos. So the Jets have some issues, but I do think that maybe they feel like Davantae is the missing piece.
Do you think that game was kind of a wash, the Jets and Broncos?
Why?
Just, well, no pun intended, the monsoon, and just it was sloppy everywhere. I know there was a really kind of a nasty, an ugly exchange in the post game.
Yeah, but the Jets have only really looked like what we thought the Jets would look like. Maybe one game this season?
Mediocre team?
No, I'm saying they looked good, like real good one game
against the Patriots on Thursday night.
Exactly, and the Patriots are terrible. I'm not even giving the Niners that many kudos for beating the Patriots, so I'm not going to give the Jets kudos. So I would if the Jets have looked better besides that, and they haven't. So that's why I'm not.
What do you think their problem is? The Jets? Is it offense or is it defense? Is it Rodgers' cadences?
And then don't forget they smacked the Patriots and then they beat the Titans.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, they beat Mayo Man, who just got his first win, I think, last week, and now they're kind of stuck in a weird spot. I think the rain did mess them up a lot. I think that is a valid excuse. I really do. You got outplayed by Bo Nix, which is not a good look.
That's what I'm saying.
So,
how about this?
Essentially, I'm trying to get here. Do you think Davantae Adams would fix a large hole that they have?
I don't know, but they feel like that.
Sure, and I'm sure Aaron Rodgers feels like that.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, that last drive, and I was watching it for personal reasons, but that last drive, as
Swim was watching
it. That last drive, when they handed the ball to the Jets and they still had to kick a 50-yarder, and Zerloin, he pushes it right. That last drive, everybody watching football thought, okay, the Jets have this in the bag, but they also didn't think that you'd have to kick a 50-yarder.
In the rain, like a wet ball is not easy to kick.
Right,
it's like rock hard.
They couldn't move the football.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to go monsoon for monsoon with you, but it didn't look as bad as, let's say, the Niners Bears with Trey Lance.
Yeah, sure.
It wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't like a pit. It looked like they're playing on turf as well.
Yeah, it was not that bad to me. So they want Davantae, whatever. Aaron, they're both, elder statesmen. Whatever they want, they get. Now, I don't think Raider fans are going to want Hassan Reddick, especially. You just don't know what you're going to get right now, and you know that he wants money. So I would definitely think about that. But got some text that we want to read through. But first, let's get to Ian Rappaport and what he had to say based on just how we got here. Here it is.
Davantae Adams is a nice guy. My understanding is that was his specific language, that he preferred to be traded. So let's get to where we stand. Of course, this has been months and months of speculation. We know plenty of teams called the Raiders trying to trade for Davantae Adams. It was always met with a, nope, not into it. The Raiders are trying to win. They're trying to win now. And, of course, Davantae Adams has wanted, ever since the Raiders very famously traded for him from the Green Bay Packers, he has wanted to be a member of the Las Vegas Raiders. My understanding, and again, this is something I reported with a good friend Garofolo over there, is that yesterday this all changed. This is when Davantae Adams informed the Raiders that he would prefer to be elsewhere. No doubt it has been a tumultuous season for Davantae Adams. Got injured his hamstring late in the week. It was the accidental or whatever like from Antonio Pierce on the Instagram post. I'm sure that did not go over great. And this is where we stand. Davantae Adams still nursing a hamstring, still would prefer to be somewhere else. And there's going to be a legitimate and very real market. And of course, we're going to speculate on potentially where he could go. It starts, but certainly does not end with the New York Jets and his old friend Aaron Rodgers. This is something, until it happens or until we are for sure it doesn't happen, going to be a massive topic in Las Vegas and all over the NFL.
And that's the other thing to bring up. You know, a lot of people thought that the hamstring was kind of an excuse, whether it's from Davantae or from the Raiders, because the Raiders were thinking about moving him. If this hamstring is more serious than I think a lot of people believe it is, that's another thing, because, okay, now I'm trading for Davantae and he can't even play immediately. So I would think about that as well if I was a team that is interested in taking Davantae. Some of the texts coming through from the 916 from our guy Murph: give me BA, Brandon Ayuk for Davantae Adams. Our run game would open up. BA, the best wideout blocker in the league. And BA is AP's guy. That's right, from his time in Arizona State.
Can they do that after an extension was signed?
Is it? Yeah, I mean,
I don't know the exact rules on that.
Well, in the NBA, you have to wait.
Yeah, so I know that's the reason I asked, because like Laurie can't be traded now in the NBA.
Right. I mean, until I think it's different because of the trade deadline being in November. So the trade deadline is in November. So either it wouldn't be the fact that anybody is talking about it. I believe you could do it. I just don't know that you would do it. We'll get some more.
That's another issue too, is the value.
Dave asked me.
Yeah, the value.
If Dave asked me.
What did you say? I missed the correct.
I said no. If I'm the Raiders, I don't do it.
Oh, that trade. I meant the value any team. Like, what is Davantae Adams worth, especially, if he does have this hamstring injury and it's legit and you can't check him out yourself right now. Like, you can't bring him in and be like, all right, let's analyze your hamstring. If you're Pittsburgh or somebody, what do the Raiders want and what are you willing to give up is a huge question in this trade.
From the 925, no drama with Ayuk? Heck no. I would take Reddick all day. So you have to pay him.
Drama's way worse.
Have to pay him.
Yeah.
You have to pay him.
If he's not happy playing for the Jets, there's no way he's going to be happy playing for the Raiders.
He wants a new contract. That's why he's not playing for the Jets. So if you want to give him a new contract, then look, that's what a lot of people say. Pass rushers and quarterbacks, those are the two most important pieces. And I would love to have fellow Temple alum on the Raiders. Trust me, but we just don't know if this man is going to play.
Did Temple do better this week?
No, they had the Thursday game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so they didn't. Okay.
So yes, because they didn't have to get out there.
That's nice. That's nice.
From the 916, I would take Reddick, but I want a first with it as well. Rodgers wants Davantae, so tax the Jets in all caps. Plus, if Reddick doesn't work out, then you have another first. Yeah, I
no way.
Respectfully, 916, the Jets are not.
Jets are not doing that.
Yeah,
maybe a third.
People are. Yeah, maybe Reddick in a third. I've seen a second and a third. Did you see Damian Lillard say if the Raiders trade Davantae for a second, I'm done with Raider Nation?
Oh,
Damian Lillard, huge Raiders fan, and he's struggling. We're all struggling in these streets. We'll see how that turns out. We'll continue the conversation, but first, wanted to get to this audio from De'Aaron Fox, his first opportunity to practice, the first official practice with DeMar DeRozan and the rest of the new look Sacramento Kings was yesterday. And we have some sound on De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan picking up the offense. And we'll get back into this Davantae Adams drama. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and The Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, The Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
Did you know that your largest investment asset might not be your retirement account or home? I'm Jay Jackson, CEO of Abacus Life. Most people don't realize that their life insurance policy is actually an asset they can sell. But for almost 20 years, Abacus has been purchasing life insurance policies from seniors just like you. We've even created a free policy value calculator at abacuspays.com so you can find out in seconds what we might pay for your policy. There are no fees and no obligations, just information. Knowing the value of your life insurance policy is as important as knowing the value of your home, your equity portfolio, or your finances in total. Discover the valuable information you need to understand the current market value for your life insurance, and then get real value from your life insurance when you need it with Abacus. Visit abacuspays.com to learn more and use our free policy value calculator today.
Model year-end pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the model year-end event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda. Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Progressive presents Renter's MVP's Most Valuable Possessions. Today's MVP, Tom Kelly's carbon fiber mountain bike. Because more than riding his carbon fiber mountain bike, Tom loves telling people about his carbon fiber mountain bike. Friends, family, even a local barista knows about his carbon fiber mountain bike. And that's why Tom's carbon fiber mountain bike, if you haven't heard about it, is today's MVP. Keep your most valuable possessions protected by bundling your renters and auto insurance with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
At the UPS Store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, we make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop Prints That Pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is, live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Hey, movie fans, the sequel we've been waiting for is playing at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento. Joker, Fully Adieu, the IMAX experience.
2 years ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
Joaquin Phoenix reprises his role and is joined by Lady Gaga.
They're all going crazy for you.
Experience this psychological thriller with heart-pounding audio on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen.
Let's give the people what they want.
Grab your tickets early for Joker, Fully Adieu at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seats today.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Yeah, a couple different articles on the Brandon Ayuk, Davantae Adams situation. It is possible, but not probable. I mean, it would look pretty bad. I mean, you just went through. I mean, how bad would that look for the Niners? You think, right? I mean, even though
he's not playing well,
the drama that you just went through, and what four lackluster games, if you will, and you throw it all away. And you talk about timelines, Nate. I don't think those timelines add up. I mean, Brock Purdy and Ayuk are around the same age. The reason you signed him is for them to grow together. So Davantae Adams can be better than Brandon Ayuk, but Davantae Adams is 4 years older than Brandon Ayuk. So I don't really think. I said I wouldn't do it if I were the Raiders. I probably also wouldn't do it if I were the Niners.
I think you rock the locker room too. You think, oh, I can sign a big deal here.
Yeah.
In the future, players will be like, oh, they'll just deal me out 4 weeks after.
I better not have a bad couple games and wear the wrong shorts.
Exactly.
By the way, we didn't get to talk about Shortgate. Trousergate is what I'm calling it.
That was, I mean, way blown out Right?
You think so? Trouser
I think it was just him being silly. I think it was just him goofing around. It did not seem like a freak. It seemed just like
it blew up.
I know, and it was widely because of friend of the show, Grant.
No, he had the video.
He had a couple things to say.
I was getting my hair cut, and I was literally just waiting at the barbershop, and I start seeing Ayuk doing Jake Moody kicks with his shorts. I'm thinking, what is going on?
Was that a shot at Jake Moody? Because that kick wasn't very good.
That's what people were saying. This is what Jake Moody's look like.
Oh man.
So yeah, I forgot about Trousergate. That happened.
I'm glad
on Friday.
we went. I think it's just not. I watched it. And you look at him. He's like smiling, kind of, and it's just whatever.
Well, then you had Kyle Shanahan say, "I wish I could wear different shorts." It was. Can you admit it was kind of odd?
Yeah, but I think it's more Shanahan being a freak.
Follow the rules.
Yeah, but him saying, "I wish I could wear different." Yeah, follow the and sure he should know better. I don't know. It's a bad timing, I guess. Sure, I'll admit it was a little weird if that's what you want me to say.
Oh no, the 916 is back. So we helped the 9, and we're about to get into this sound from De'Aaron Fox on DeMar DeRozan.
Is this Survivor League guy?
Yes.
Okay.
Back, and we got him because Niners won.
And the spread.
This is a tough one though. We're gonna read it now, answer it a little bit later, and we have some time. We might wait for Chris Watkins. Hopefully he's back tomorrow. This is from the 916, and we need your help too, not just Nate and myself. If you're listening, text in, help out our friend from the 916. 916-339-1140. That's how you can help them out, or on the Sack Chat. 916 says, update on my Survivor League. 8 left now. 3 dropped with the Jets pick. Leaning towards the Chiefs. Cannot go Seahawks, Chargers, Jets, or Niners. Other options considering Bears and Commanders. What are your thoughts? So Chiefs
Saints Monday Night Football.
Oh,
and Chiefs, they lost their number one receiver. They're due, and I just don't think this is the week to pick the Chiefs necessarily. I know it's in Kansas City. I forgot where they played. This is one we'll definitely have to circle back to.
Yes, we'll circle back just quickly, Nate, for these two teams. Very quickly. This is a good one. This is going to be fun. So the Panthers are visiting the Bears. So it's Panthers at Bears.
That's bad football.
That's bad football.
That's bad football.
And then you have, a team that really needs a win, the Cleveland Browns, taking on the red-hot Washington Commanders. So they're both going to be favored, right? The Bears and the Commanders. Commanders are hot, but the Browns are desperate. I saw Nick Chubb is starting to get back into action. The Browns are desperate, but they got to go to a red-hot Washington. This is a tough one, 916. Bears taking on the Panthers, which in theory should be the Bears, and Commanders hosting the Browns. We will have to get back to you on that one, 916. That's a tough one. Any other options, 916? Because that's a tough one. And I would stay away from the Chiefs. I just think they're due. I thought they were due last week. And Rashee Rice, it doesn't look great for him. Okay. We have this DeMar DeRozan situation with De'Aaron Fox, but we do have a call that we want to get to with Davantae Adams. This person is going anonymous, according to Nate. What would you like to say about one Davantae Adams?
First and foremost, I'm from East Palo Alto,
Okay.
This is one of my people I grew up with. I grew up with Davantae Adams, right around the corner from his grandma, Miss Betty.
Mm-hmm.
This man is not, we got to think, let's not stir the conversation about Davantae Adams, right?
Mm-hmm.
This coach is not having a good season.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Davantae Adams and Max Cosby is the reason why this coach is there. Nobody's talking about that.
Right.
Nobody wants to talk about that. He's causing the distraction by even liking a post. You liking a post about a man being traded. And this man ain't even did nothing but came and produced on the field, kept his head down and in and out of the facility. He came there to play for Oakland. Y'all upped and left. And just like Damian Lillard he just posted the other day, he just said, I wouldn't mind if Max Cosby and them left. You feel me?
Yeah.
He's already at the, so people are already making an uproar about this man. You feel me? Wanting to trade. He should have been left. Y'all ain't had a quarterback in how long? You feel me? Y'all ain't won a playoff like Stephen A. Smith said. Y'all ain't won a playoff in a long time. So let's just say, like, I'm a 49er fan. I would definitely trade Brandon Ayuk. For Davantae Adams right now. That man has not showed us nothing since he's got that money. It's Jawad Jennings that's really producing for us. So I would even trade, if it was me, I would really trade Deebo Samuel for him.
Yeah.
He's almost at the butt end of his contract. You got to think he's at the end of his contract. He's really been injured. He's been injured also. He ain't really been around when in the times that we really needed him. It's been Jawad Jennings that's really been saving us. Let's be real. If we real faithfuls, let's be real. Let's keep the expectations real.
No,
Davantae Adams is going to get it. Davantae Adams is going to get us to a Super Bowl, and we're going to win.
There you go.
They can't stop him.
Good stuff, man. Appreciate it. So there's one person that would trade Davantae Adams. Now, he grew up with Davantae Adams right around the corner. He would trade for Davantae Adams and trade one Brandon Ayuk. I do think it's weird, though, Nate, because I've seen a couple Raider fans on the text line. I've seen a couple Raider fans on social media acting like, I saw somebody called him Davantae Adams, and they replaced the A with an I. I'm not understanding when Davantae Adams became a diva, unless we're missing something. Ian Rappaport, like we all said, Ian Rappaport said, Davantae, nice guy. He played by the rules. The team has not been good. Then unless somebody knows, and we're going to talk to Vic Tafer at 1:15, senior writer for The Athletic, covers the Raiders. Unless there is something going around that is saying that Davantae was making a stink prior to yesterday, Ian Rappaport literally just said that Davantae wanted to be there up until yesterday. So there was some confusion, and this is how I led the show, with whether Davantae had said something prior to Antonio Pierce liking the post. So if that's not the case, if Ian Rappaport debunked that, we'll see if Vic Tafer debunks it as well. If that's the case, then going back to the caller, where is this hate? Where is this? Is it just, and now I sound like Carmichael Dave here, is it just the loyalty and, should I say, delusion to the Shield, that anybody that ever goes against the Shield, you're done with them? Because, and when I'm talking about the Shield, I'm talking about the Raiders. Because I never heard anything negative about Davantae Adams. We all know that Jimmy G is trash. So we understand all of that. Davantae went out there and he did what he could do. Now all of a sudden he says, you know what? I'm 32 years old, or I'm about to be 32. It's time for me I want to play at a high level for the last stint of my career. Very similar to DeMar DeRozan.
Well, he also went to the Raiders with the intention of playing with his guy, Derek Carr.
And then he was gone. Yeah. The whole thing was a mess. So where did this Davantae Adams, oh, you know what? Screw Davantae Adams. He's a diva. Us Raiders, we got to move on. And by the way, you're caping for a guy in Antonio Pierce who has done absolutely nothing. He hasn't done anything yet. If this was Bill Belichick or Kyle Shanahan, when people wanted to move off of Brandon Ayuk because you're riding for Kyle Shanahan, I can understand that. Kyle Shanahan's been to multiple Super Bowls. He's one of the most consistent coaches in the league. But you're just throwing Davantae. Now he said he wants to go, so maybe it's, hey, if he wants to go, just go. Maybe it's not as much about his character. But just saying Davantae Adams, oh, he never wanted to be here. I got into it with the Raider fan yesterday because they were saying he was complaining since he got here. When was he complaining? He's been complaining since he got here? You mean when he was trying to play with Derek Carr and wanted to be here? I sound like Carmichael Dave with this because I just don't understand. Why can't we live in a world where it's, you know what, I wish it worked out with Davantae. I got love for Davantae, but clearly our timelines are off. Davantae can go off and do his thing, and hopefully we get something good back in return. Why can it not be that? Why does it have to be, he didn't want this, and you know what, we're done with him, bleep him. Why does it have to, I just don't understand how it has to be that. When we haven't heard anything negative about Davantae Adams before. Maybe I'm missing something. You can let me know, please. But besides receiver, where he was talking about a QB who's no longer there, who is objectively awful, what are we actually talking about? All right, we'll get to this De'Aaron Fox sound on DeMar DeRozan when we return. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find De'Aaron Fox is Sacktown Sports.
Spins away from the defender, in the paint, soft floater. That's a great play by De'Aaron Fox.
Hey, Sacramento, it's De'Aaron Fox, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
You've seen him on the roast of Tom Brady, and you've heard him host the #1 podcast in the world, Kill Tony. Now see Tony Hinchcliffe perform stand-up comedy live at the venue at Thunder Valley, Friday, October 11th. The man behind millions of views worldwide and countless sold-out shows brings his stand-up set to you, Tony Hinchcliffe. Critics call him a must-see. Don't miss this stand-up comedian, writer, podcast host, and professional wordsmith live in Sacramento. Tony Hinchcliffe. Get tickets at Thunder Valley Resort.
Get ready to hit the gas on the best power tool deals of the year at Fastener's Tool Outlet. We're revving up the savings with our full throttle one-day DeWalt sale in Sacramento on October 12th only. We are slashing prices on a huge selection of DeWalt power tools like cordless drills, saws, combo kits, and more at costs you won't believe. Get better tools for better prices only at Fasteners Inc., Sacramento's top destination for DeWalt tools. Again, that's October 12th only on Power & Road. For more info, go to fastenersinc.net.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system? You were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Yeah, it's really a situation, and Esteban is on the text line. It's really a situation where it's neither party wanted to admit it wasn't working out, or they didn't admit it wasn't working out at the right time. He should have been moved in the offseason. to Nate's point, coming off a win, you're 2-2. An AFC that's kind of a mess. I mean, I think we feel like the Chiefs are going, the Chiefs are 4-0, but it's the most harder-earned 4-0 you could come across. I mean, you got the Steelers at 3-1. The Bengals are a mess. The Bills, they finally just lost. The Ravens are starting to heat up, but they're climbing. So it's kind of a wide open AFC. So clearly this is more of a long-term thing, and Davantae Adams is not buying the 2-2 start. And if you're not buying the 2-2 start, that's fine. But, we could lay blame on both sides here. The timing was never going to work out, and we all knew that. And last season, when it was being brought up and the Raiders scoffed at it, it didn't make sense then. And now they're here. And, to the point of what people are saying, you're going to move it. You have less teams involved because teams are not trying to figure out their cap situations during the season. So it might be Jets simply because nobody else, really is paying attention to that right now. If you wait till the off season, you'd have a lot more suitors and a lot more opportunities to figure something out. So yeah, it's a kind of a bad situation on the front office. Sometimes you just gotta chalk up your losses. It didn't work out. 4 quarterbacks and 2 coaches later, just didn't work. It just didn't work. All right. Let's get to this sound from De'Aaron Fox. This is after the first official practice with DeMar DeRozan, and how DeMar DeRozan is already picking up that offense. Here it is.
Obviously, a lot of our offense is read and react, but you still have to be able to communicate with your mouth, and that makes things a lot easier. And it's funny because we were going through some stuff, and he was, Will's just 5-1, no defense out there. So he was like, man, this makes shit like easy. And I was like, yeah, and we've talked about it before. I'm like, our offense may look complicated, but once you know what's going on, it becomes really easy to understand. And when he started getting how the offense kind of functioned, he was like, wow, I kind of see why, it moves the way it moves. And I think he fits in perfectly.
That was De'Aaron Fox on the newest Sacramento King, DeMar DeRozan. Yeah, man. I mean, the more this thing gets going, the more excited everybody is going to be. I just think that they're getting slept on. And, we saw an ESPN projection that came out, and they actually had the Kings finishing 4th. And that's the highest that I've seen the Kings finish. And that's after, I think, a couple of their analysts giving the Kings a D. So I don't really know how that happens. I think that there may have been some, and funny enough, maybe it's the pictures and seeing, wow, the Kings really have some dogs, just looking at them on media day. I do think that people, if you haven't, like I said, not me, but if you haven't hammered that, 46.5 for the Kings, I would do it now, because I honestly think it might go up, because I do think that the Kings are starting to get some momentum here, just seeing what DeMar DeRozan is going to bring to the table. I think a lot of people just kind of scoffed at it early because DeMar DeRozan, he hasn't really played in a lot of meaningful basketball games these last couple years. I mean, he made it to the play-in. That's when his daughter was screaming. So we had that situation. The Spurs, they didn't really do anything. But when he was with the Raptors, I mean, that was when the LeBronto thing was happening. And the Raptors, they made some deep runs in the playoffs. And the Kings, coming off a season that, they almost got to 50 wins, and they lost a ton of games they had no business losing. So I would say that the train is going to start getting filled up like a BART train. By the way, BART running early if you're going to College Game Day. I just saw that, Nate. If you're going to College Game Day this weekend.
Is it at Cal?
It's at Cal.
Yeah,
it's at Cal. It's at Cal. It's going to be a great time. My buddy wants me to go, so I might be out there in Berkeley. But yeah, get on the train now for the Sacramento Kings, because I do think people are starting to understand exactly what this team is capable of, and I could see them getting off to a hot start. And I think that's the most important thing. Last season, that first 20 games, I feel, is so important, and people don't realize it. There are a lot of people that'll sit there, and we'll go back and forth as they say, it's first 20. Hey, they're good. Then you blink and you're 3 games back, another 5 games and you're 4 games back, another 10 games and now you're 6 games back. And now all of a sudden, okay, we're now eliminating the 1 seed. I think last season we eliminated seeds that were unattainable for the Kings way too quickly. It was, you blinked and the 1 seed was gone. You went to the bathroom and now the 2 seed was gone. You made a sandwich and now the 3 seed is gone. And then you were looking at the 4 seed that eventually went away. And then we were praying for the 5 seed. I believe it was still, that was around the time, and this is towards the end of the season now, but it felt early on in the season, or fairly early in the season, once we got to the new year, that it was 4 at best. Right, and then it became 5 at best, and then that's when Luka flopped on Malik Monk, and it was maybe we could get in that whole stint with the Mavericks, that 2-game series. It went from 5 to hopefully being the 7,
hopefully getting into the play-in.
And then from there, it went from 5 to hopefully getting into the play-in to the 9, ended up being the 9 seed.
Yeah,
happened very quickly, and I think that the Kings. If we're saying, Nate, that was the, dare I say, the sophomore slump for this Beam team, you gotta adjust to the adjustment. And I believe now, ultimately, if we didn't think that this team was going to do very much last season anyway, now they come back fully loaded. And I would say this: everything happens for a reason. What happens if the Kings do get that 6th seed and they lose in the first round again? Do they still go after DeMar DeRozan? Or do they feel like, hey, we're getting closer, maybe we just need one more, you know what I mean? One more go round.
Well, so, why not go after DeMar though? Like, what do you have to lose?
Well, I'm just saying they had no choice. There was no, you couldn't live in there was no world they could live in anymore after this past season and think that this team was good enough. So as tough as last season was, you could say that it's possible. It's possible that they don't go after DeMar. If, let's say, it's another hard-fought series, and Harrison Barnes had a great series. Now, the ceiling of this team wouldn't be any higher, but in our minds, we could convince ourselves. You couldn't convince yourself of anything after last season. It was straight up, this team isn't good enough, and that's just what it is. And now, because of that, they went out and made the team better. So to sacrifice how bad it felt to lose to the Pelicans in order to get DeMar DeRozan, I would take that sacrifice each and every day.
Well, I got some bad news for you here, Alan.
Bad news.
In regards to the opening of this conversation, 46.5 is the number.
It's
right?
gone?
Well, the big 2, right? MGM and Caesars, those are probably the big 2 for putting down some wagers on the over-under wins. The good news is MGM still has them at 46.5. The bad news is Caesar, the 1A and 1B, has them at 47.5. And for the most part, if you go through this list, they're pretty similar. There's a couple like Philly, there's a 1-game difference between those two. But for the most part, I think you're right. I think there might be sort of I don't know, they'll probably let you do it through the preseason. So maybe the preseason might change some minds. Probably not, but who knows?
Do it now.
Do it now,
because they're paying attention to, if ESPN has you at a 4 seed and that projection is over 46.5, then they're going to start. They're going off of the analysts. They're going off of what they've seen these other teams do, and we already knew that. Well, the Kings, they did better than that last season, and Malik Monk was hurt to end the season, and Kevin Huerter was hurt. So to me, I think it's easy cheese if anybody is into that. Of course. Not myself. Coming up next, don't go anywhere. We will hear from the man himself who put this team together, Monte McNair, on with the morning show, Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross. We hear from Monte McNair in an exclusive interview that they did during Media Day. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
Everyday Cintas service reps help businesses get ready for the workday. They provide freshly laundered workwear delivered every week. Mats, mops, restroom and cleaning supplies. First aid and safety products to help your employees stay safe. They even test and inspect fire extinguishers and emergency lights. Cintas helps keep your business running smoothly. See what Cintas can do for you. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all four arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value. At the Good Feet store.
Shop fall savings at Big O Tires now through October 13th and buy 3, get 1 free on 4 select in-stock tires with installation and alignment purchase on all 4 tires. Offer good on most Saloon tires while supplies last. Disposal fees extra, not good with other offers. See participating Big O Tire dealer for details.
Your home for the Oakland A's every weekend.
KHTK HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports, 1140.
That's right.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
As promised, here's Kings GM Monte McNair on the morning show. This is from Media Day, an exclusive with our guys Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross, breaking down all things Kings and what to expect this season. Here it is.
Kings, fresh from a hopefully relaxing, fun offseason. Monte McNair, good morning, afternoon.
Thanks for having me. Whatever it is. I'm great.
Long time no talk, Monty.
That sounds like there's an edge to that.
That's fine. I mean, I just texted him a few times, didn't get back, but you're busy in the off season.
Maybe it's because you're wearing a vest.
Is it because I'm wearing a vest?
I was ready to text him about Florida State, but then there was not a good time.
Wow, that's where it's going. See?
Yes.
Wow.
What were you going to say?
Well, I was waiting for them to win, and then I would say, hey, congrats on a good start to the season. But
SMU is a powerhouse state. That's, How,
Jason, I'm happy to be here with you.
Thank you.
Let's get started with, I don't know what to get started with. How was your offseason?
It was good. It was good. As always, I think the craziness of the draft and free agency and summer league, we're really excited with where the team ended up. But as always, just as excited to get and spend some time with my young family. So we have 4 kids, 8 down to 1, and so we got some quality time together. From
still no new kids.
No, we're
okay.
And we're done. We're done.
Right,
we're done. We're done. Our youngest just turned 1, so. We got a little bit of time that we'll be out of diapers finally, and but it was good. We had a lot of soccer, a lot of gymnastics. My son started flag football, so it's been really good. But as always, Media Day, the official kickoff to the season, so excited to be back.
You're probably glad to be back here. Home sounds like chaos.
It's a good chaos. It's a good chaos. You get put in your place. We get bossed around by a 3-year-old day in, day out. It's hard to get your ego too high, but it's a fun chaos. I don't know how my wife does it for 365 days. I do it for about 365 minutes, and I'm ready for a long break. But they're excited too, which is fun. They're getting to the age where they kind of know more what's going on, and so it's more fun around the McNair household these days.
Will we be entering another new season, not just of Kings basketball, but are we also continuing the Nerf basketball at home with your kiddo? Because we kind of follow that loosely. And if you don't know, Monty said before, you have to do the Keegan Murrays and all that stuff. Are you still able to do that, or have we grown out of that yet? Hopefully not.
No, we're still very much in it. I think the change is when my son said that he was the best basketball player in the family, and my wife, who played a year of Division II basketball in college, we had to quickly tell him that's not the case. And so now we don't let him win every time. And so I think he's learning how good of a shot Mom is. And so he's aiming to be the second best, which I think he can grow into. But he loves to do the Keegan Murray chant. He loves to shoot threes. But, we're trying to get him to play some defense. So we'll get Coach Mike in there to shoot him straight.
So your wife still got it, huh?
Oh, she can still shoot it.
She can still shoot it? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Nice. So what's your feeling about the season? I mean, we're basically here.
It's going to be terrible. I feel
that was Carmichael Day.
That was for his opinion, and yeah,
I'm excited. This is I can't really do math. This is year 16 or 17 for me in the West, and it feels like it's always like this. But I do think this is maybe even the deepest that the West has ever been. You got 12 at least teams that expect to be in the playoffs. And so that means 2 of those teams aren't going to make the play-in. Another 4 are going to be in the play-in. Our goal is to get back into that top 6 where we can then focus on advancing in the playoffs. On the flip side, I think we've had 5 different conference champions the last 5 years. So the West is open, maybe more so than it was in the past. And so we've seen some teams that were able to make a tweak here, get somebody to make a leap, and you're in position where you can advance deep into the playoffs. So that's why I'm excited. Obviously, DeMar headlines, I think, are new guys, but we got a lot of guys that have been here who have been a part of something pretty special here. 48, 46 wins, but the cool thing is that's not good enough anymore, and it's probably not good enough in the West. So we got to find a way to win more games to get to the point where hopefully we have home court in the playoffs again, and we're playing deeper into May and hopefully June.
Can we do the thing where I say the things I've been saying on the air to you that I'm worried about, and then you tell me how dumb I am, but not politely, like you don't tell me, but
nicely, yeah.
Okay, so I love the DeMar pickup. I feel I did say this is true, Lat. I could count on probably one hand the amount of people that you could trade Harrison Barnes for character-wise that would at least be on that level. You probably count on one hand, and DeMar is one of them, right? So obviously it takes care of a lot of things offensively. I worry about the defense, though. I'm still worried about the defense, and I don't know that we got better defensively. Is that a concern for you going into the season, that we might have some defensive holes?
I think the biggest thing for us, one thing I'll say is DeMar was part of a top 5 defense in Chicago. He's been a part of some good defenses in San Antonio, Toronto. So, I think he can be a part of a good defense here. And I think we made strides last year. At the same time, I don't care how we get it done. There's been teams that have succeeded with the number 1 offense and, maybe more of an average defense. Vice versa. We saw some of that in recent years. So I think what we're always trying to get to is we need to figure out a way that we can, on any given night, beat that team, however we got to do it. And so I think last year we showed we could actually win with defense. I think you're maybe underrating some of our defenders, I would say. At the same time, I think we had guys like Jordan McLaughlin, Devin Carter when he gets healthy, Jalen McDaniels that will help, boost our defense as well. But ultimately, I don't care the way it gets done as long as we end up with more points at the end of the game. And I think we'll have a lot of ways to do that.
And then the other one, and I guess we can wrap here because I see we can't make Kevin Huerter wait. He's over there. Look at that. He's my player.
He looks antsy.
Last thing, I was already worried about our front court depth and lack thereof. No offense to the players at all. It's just something that worries me with whether you're going to move Keegan down to the 4. You could argue that's undersized. Domas, I think, is better defensively than people give him credit for. But I'm a little worried about that depth issue. And now with Trey being reevaluated, and he's probably missing all of camp and then some. Is that how do you try to combat that coming out for the new season?
Well, I think we knew we weren't going to be healthy all year. Obviously, we prefer to be healthy to start, but we won't be on day one of training camp. The good news is, outside of Devin, the other guys that are dealing with some things, have a much shorter timeline, and hopefully we'll get good news on those reevaluations. Those guys will be ready very soon. At the same time, we build our team knowing that those things are going to happen. And so, we've got Alex Len, Orlando Robinson, Jalen McDaniels. We've got some guys with some size that can fill in. At the same time, DeMar and Keegan have both guarded plenty of force and done so well. And I think that's something maybe underrated about DeMar's versatility is the defensive end, where he's guarded 2, 3, 4 an almost equal amount the last few years, in addition to what he does on the offensive end. So, it's an opportunity for guys to step up if there's injuries to start the season, or there's going to be injuries throughout the year. And like any good team, it's going to have to be next man up, because, we're not going to make it through the season with 8 guys playing all our minutes. So we're going to need to count on 1 to 17. I think the other thing I'll point to is this is opportunity for guys like we had with Keon last year. Keon was not expected to be a big part of the rotation, and by the end of the year, he's starting for us in the play-in and playing huge minutes, and had one of the best games I've seen him have against Golden State on a big stage. So, hopefully we have somebody else that steps up in that regard, because that's going to be huge for our team as we, certainly have guys that, continue to get accolades and those types of things. And that means that, as you keep those guys around, you're going to have to find guys that can help fill in around the De'Aarons, the Domases, the DeMars. So fair, but I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised by what we're throwing out on the court. No matter who the 5 are out there, all these guys, I think, have the opportunity to make a big step.
Awesome.
So you're now kicking me out for Kevin, is what you're saying?
Well, it's up to you. You're the boss.
I think the fans would much rather hear from somebody of Kevin Herter's prowess than myself. So
just to be clear, Florida State would beat Princeton in football, but then we work on your cars after or something. So it's kind of evens out.
How many national championships do you guys have? Because if you look it up, Princeton has 28. So
you guys are playing plumbers.
Wow. I'm sorry. Do
19,
NBA teams get to count all their championships? They all count.
I have not read the whole rule book.
That's offensive to plumbers.
Monte McNair. We'll hopefully talk to you during the year if you're kind enough to visit with us and say hello to the fam. Have a good year.
Thanks, guys.
See ya.
That was Monte McNair, GM for the Sacramento Kings, sitting down with Carmichael, Dave, and Jason Ross. Great stuff from them as always. Whenever Monty sits down, they have a relationship, they have a rapport, so it's always very natural. But some of the things that Monty was talking about as far as guys stepping up, he did mention McDaniels, who we spoke with as well. You can check that out on YouTube. He did mention some of these guys that you might not be expecting to show up and contribute and produce. That's what this is all about. It's obviously everybody has their main guys in their rotation that they want to stick to, but throughout the course of an 82-game season, anything can happen. So you have to be prepared for that, and you have to be ready to handle that in different ways and have guys that are prepared to step up. And that's why you go out and you get a Jordan McLaughlin, right, who shot 47% from 3 last season as a dog defensively, while you wait for Devin Carter to get back. And obviously, on top of Devin Carter getting back to, with Davion Mitchell moving on as well. So I think there are going to be a lot of opportunities, and, talking to some of the guys and what we think that, they're going to bring to the table. I mean, Jalen McDaniels, to me, obviously we know about his brother. He said that they're very close, obviously, and talk pretty frequently just about the game of basketball throughout the course of the season. That's the one to me. And, people can say, well, look what he did in Toronto. And a lot of people in Toronto and fans were happy to move on from one Jalen McDaniels. But this is a guy where if you're able to, get something from him, especially while Trey Lyles gets back. Trey Lyles, by the way, said that everything is trending in the right direction for his groin. But these are the types of guys that you're not paying attention to at the beginning of the season or paying attention to as much. And then all of a sudden, oh, wow, this guy is D'ing up, this wing on this other team, this star wing on this other team, and he's hitting threes. Oh, wow, this guy is, able to get to the bucket and create when De'Aaron is out. Oh, wow, this guy is locking up a guard and Keon's in foul trouble and De'Aaron doesn't have to do that because Jordan McLaughlin's doing it. So I feel like the pieces that they got, or even on Orlando Robinson on a level of that as well. I feel like the pieces that they got might be a little bit under the radar, but every team has this. Every team has the guys that they clearly, when the playoffs start, these guys are going to get the time. But to get to the playoffs, you have to make sure that you're in that position, right? So if somebody goes down, I'm not even going to say a name because we're not going to put it into the universe, but if somebody goes down, how do you react? And I think Monte McNair essentially was saying, hey, this is what we're doing to make sure that if last season happens, we're in a better position and we don't have to necessarily sell the season. They didn't sell the season. They still got to the play-in, but we can, as we have the conversations of, hey, if the Kings can last this long, then Malik Monk is getting back. You know what I mean? But the Kings didn't play that long. So can you keep people, or can you find people to keep the boat afloat when others happen to go down, or if others are unable? That is the name of the game throughout an 82-game season. I think Monte McNair was essentially saying our goal was to put ourselves in a position where that could be the case or would be the case. So great stuff from Monte McNair as always. We are going to hear more from Monte McNair on the length issue. Now, this one was not part of the interview. This one was part of the media scrum, and it wasn't really being received as well as I think Monte may have hoped from Sacramento Kings fans. I don't know if you've been watching the debates, but sometimes you get asked a question in a debate and you don't really answer the question. So here is Monte McNair. We will get to it on the other side about the length issue that everybody has been talking about with the Sacramento Kings. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes here for Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. Now that fall is here, now is the perfect time to head to Stockton and check out a new Mercedes-Benz. I had the opportunity just last week to drive an all-new S-Class 550, and let me tell you, it was a sweet ride. The moment I hopped in, I felt like I was in a world of luxury. From the steering wheel to the seat cooling and even the power of the engine, I was impressed. And then, of course, when I hopped into my Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, I felt the same thing. So hurry in and take advantage of the Mercedes-Benz incentive bonuses up to $15,000. And they have tons of pre-owned vehicles as well, including C-Class sedans, GLC SUVs, and a whole lot more. Take it from me, you won't be disappointed. So take the short drive down I-5 to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton or online at mbofstockton.com.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
You just heard from Monte McNair. You're going to hear from him again in a different capacity as it pertains to the length issue. Hey, yo, the length issue on the Sacramento Kings. But first, you know him, you love him. Mike Epps returns to Sacramento for a night of nonstop laughs. And, of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline at 11:30 in 15 minutes. And we will pick that lucky number to score that pair of tickets. Check out Mike Epps at Hard Rock Live on October 12th, courtesy of Live Nation. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com. Okay, here is Monte McNair on the length issue, and we will have you decide whether or not it sounds like the issue has been resolved, and more, I guess, specifically with the Pelicans, as the Pelicans have, I mean, really, they've got better. They might have some drama of their own, but they got better as well. Okay, here's Monte McNair.
Well, I think for us, like, we're going to have to beat teams that, you know, the Pelicans have some length that they can throw at us. I think one thing is now they got one other tough offensive guy that they're going to have to throw somebody at. And so, you know, that may free up De'Aaron to, you know, have a little more space or whatever. But we certainly have some guys that I think you'll see that are a little bigger, longer. Jalen McDaniels certainly has some length. You know, obviously Alex Len coming back is a big 7-footer in the middle. But, you know, at the same time, we're going to have to go to our strengths, and teams are going to have to adapt to us as well.
Like as usual. That sounds like we're just hoping that our style of play will beat the other styles of play.
He mentions Jalen McDaniels.
Yeah.
Do you think that dude gets a minute of like?
Well, he's gonna have to with
actual not garbage time, but just like that's like worth anything.
We have to see what happens with Trey Lyles.
Sure.
Right. I mean, that was basic. That was the base of our interview with Jalen McDaniels, with Trey Lyles. And I think he's getting reevaluated in either 2 or 3 weeks. Personally, I've had a groin injury before. It's annoying. It's very, very annoying. So they're already low, Nate, on the wings. So you go into the season, Trey's not 100%, right? They're now saying, and when we spoke to Monte McNair last week, this was not part of the interview, but, you know, talking about Kevin Huerter playing some 3, but you have Keegan. I guess you throw Kevin Huerter in there as well. You have Trey Lyles, who's injured. And, of course, you have DeMar DeRozan. Trey Lyles being injured, I mean, and honestly, we want to see what happens with Trey. This is looking eerily similar to last season. Trey didn't start the season last season.
After having a very hot season the year before, where he was,
and he never found his footing.
Very key piece, yeah. And it's going to be probably even harder now when you add DeRozan, getting that chemistry figured out. If you're Trey, because not only are you behind the rest of the team when it comes to chemistry, you're behind with DeRozan. You're behind the chemistry that the team is building with DeMar.
For him to have had a rough season or had an issue getting back into rhythm last season where it was essentially the same exact team, that's a great point, Nate. Now you're coming in a little bit later than everybody else, and it's not the same team at all.
No, a very new key piece is there to throw a wrench in everything.
Now, hopefully, you would say, hey, DeMar, you know, he'll be able to assimilate to everything pretty well, but that remains to be seen. And yeah, man, I don't know. I think this is really not do or die time, but this is a huge season for one Trey Lyles.
100%.
Because something that I'm looking at as we talk about guys, you know, their initial rotation and then guys past that initial rotation, something that I'm looking at is if this doesn't go well, you're in a position, and not that it's easier said than done, because it is hard to find the you know, the rotational pieces, but you're talking about, we got to find a way to upgrade, and it's not about Trey in particular, but we have to upgrade that our wing depth, right? At that point, you're putting a lot on Trey right now, and if Trey can't find his footing back this season and Jalen McDaniels doesn't end up being found money, that's too important of a position to just have two guys you can depend on, and one in and if you count Kevin Huerter, who we need to see more of what Kevin Huerter looks like.
Who's not healthy either. That's the same problem applies to him when it comes to health. I will say this is Trey Lyles' last season with the Kings as of right now.
Yeah.
So it'd be nice to have him back earlier too, before the deadline. Well, before the trade deadline, if they need to make a deal, he, I would imagine, is a pretty good asset to give to a different team, maybe a win now team in the East.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's not playing, he's definitely not going to be, if he misses a large chunk of the season, he's probably not going to be on the radar for a lot of teams.
Yeah, it feels like Trey's value is somewhere between, like you said, a piece and a sweetener.
Well, yeah,
right? I think a sweetener is probably disrespectful, but a legit piece, if he was a legit piece, I don't think the Kings would be moving off him because they need wing depth. So I think he falls right there in the middle of he can definitely help get a deal done. I'll tell you that much. But it's going to require more.
Yeah, I definitely see him more. Notice this is just the business. Like, I see him more as a sweetener for sure.
Mm-hmm.
He definitely is not like a key piece the Kings would have to be giving up first with him or something. If they're trying to do something massive halfway through the season, which is, I don't see that happening this year.
I don't either.
Yeah, there's no point. If they didn't do something in the offseason, then definitely. But luckily, we're not living in that world.
What happens is, and really the two sides of the coin, what happens is you either have a situation where you've overachieved and you don't want to mess up the juju and the mojo jojo, or you've underachieved, and at that point, do you want to make a hasty move and then you end up not being able to catch anyone anyway? I mean, the example that everybody keeps using, and that's worked perfectly, is the Mavericks. But I guess the Mavericks, it's been 2 years in a row where it's happened, and we get all that. The Mavericks, and then 2 years ago with the Lakers. And the Lakers, it ended up essentially being fool's gold. By the way, the reports out of Lakers camp, Jovan Buha, who is a friend of the show, but the vibes have never been better in LA, and all the clips of Bronny and Braun. But that aside, you have two examples of that. We don't know what the Mavericks are now going to be. The Mavericks also, you could argue, if they don't get it done, those deals that they made, those deals were not cheap deals. So it paid off for them last season because they made it to the finals. What happens this season? If they're stuck based on the deals they made during last season's trade deadline and then they don't make it to the finals again, or they take a step back, then you start looking at it and saying, was it a success because they had a hot run? So, I'm not in on trade deadline deals. I'm just not in on it at all. But
on like big ones.
On big ones.
Yeah.
Yes. Then I guess the Mavericks, but the Mavericks, they weren't big, but they did pay a fairly big price tag. That's the issue with trade deadline deals. You're desperate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people ride.
And it shows.
off that desperation. All right. Coming up next, we have some Brock Purdy stats compared to Patrick Mahomes. And I have absolutely no clue what to do with them. Maybe Nate can help. Maybe you can help. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
She used to meet me on the inside.
Khalid, live in concert. See him performing at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. Get tickets now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss the sensational Khalid for one night only at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. For more, visit KhalidOfficial.com.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
At the UPS store, we understand the importance of a first impression. That's why we're here to help you put your best foot forward and be unstoppable with our printing services. With high-quality paper stock options, banners, business cards, menus, and more, We make sure your small business stands out and your message reaches the masses. After all, we're the one-stop prints that pop store. Most locations are independently owned. Product, services, prices, and hours of operation may vary. See Center for details. The UPS Store. Be unstoppable. Come into your local store today and get your print on.
This report is brought to you by Macy's. Don't miss Macy's VIP sale. Use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 30% off the latest fall trends and save 15% off skincare, makeup, and more. Savings off regular and already reduced prices. Exclusions apply. Now at Macy's.
With Wendy's, breakfast burrito is everything you want for breakfast. Fresh cracked eggs, seasoned potatoes, American cheese, cheese sauce, bacon, or sausage, all rolled up into one warm tortilla. Want the boss of breakfast burritos? Gotta be Wendy's at participating U.S. Wendy's.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote. That's theaeway.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all four arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Stiles and Watkins, just Stiles today. Just had a little bit of leftover barbecue. So I went fairly safe, or fairly healthy, if you will. Because Alan brings stinky lunches. And this is what we're getting to, because I had a one single rib. It was a bigger rib. It was just a leftovers, just a whole me over rib, some barbecue beans. And then to be healthy, I had some diced up, sweet potatoes and broccoli. And the broccoli is what scared me. So I heated it up. I'm literally eating it as I'm walking.
Well, why did it scare you? You're not everyone knows the behind the scenes.
Because one time I heated up broccoli and it stunk up the studio.
Pretty bad, dude. And then one time you brought in
that
Caesar salad.
No, the Caesar salad.
Like a pre-made one. It was disgusting.
No, I think something was wrong with that one, but I ended up being okay.
I'm glad you didn't eat that.
So I literally, during the break, I'm just scarfing this thing, just walking through the halls, because I don't want to get back to the room. And then I have Nate come in, and Nate's like, it's not that. It's kind of bad. It's not that bad.
Well, the food smell wasn't gross. The broccoli was stinky and disgusting.
No, not today. Not today.
No. The original time. So now there's definitely a waft of food in there, but it's not like gross.
Why don't we have I guess we can't have a window, but.
No, because then you get people. We're on the top floor, though.
Yeah.
We have a window. It just doesn't open.
I know.
Yeah.
It's like a hotel.
Yeah, or a casino.
Yeah. I know. I just look out this corner. I have no clue what time it is ever.
Yeah.
You know,
Alan can't keep burritos out of his mouth.
All right.
It's like he's here with us.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Chris Watkins, hopefully he'll be back tomorrow. A little under the weather, but we got him covered. And Brock Purdy has Kyle Shanahan covered. We have this sound from Brock Purdy, and then I got some stats, and I have no clue what to do with these stats. But here's Brock Purdy on one, Kyle Shanahan, the players coach. So what do you have to say after they beat the brakes off the New England Patriots.
Brock, as we've talked about, no woe is us in this team. The injuries mounted again today. What has adversity taught this team?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple guys down, here and there on our team, but for us, having Fred on the other side of the ball and all those guys, and then Trent and George and everybody on our side, we've just come together, and it's like, man, it's a team sport at the end of the day. We can't lose sight of that, and we got to play complementary football. And today, nothing was perfect, but man, we found a way together more than anything. So
we had shots of Kyle actually smiling on the sideline. How often do you see that?
Every once in a while. It's a good sign. He's always like, there's another possession, another drive. We got to be perfect. We got to be good. And we all got his back. We'll go to war with him. But to see him smile every once in a while is nice.
That kind of describes you, just that background we talked about, that chip on your shoulder kind of mentality. How does that play out every single game?
Yeah, I mean, every Sunday you're going to get, you're an NFL team playing another NFL team, the best in the world. And so to think you're going to come out here and anything's going to be given to you is completely wrong. So we got to come out here, chip on our shoulder, trying to prove to ourselves what our standard is and live up to that standard and play at that standard. So we're just hard on ourselves.
Does he ever say the wrong thing?
I love him so much.
I just don't think he ever says the wrong thing.
He's the man, dude. And he's playing so well.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing so well. I know you have your stats to compare him to Mahomes. I saw something this morning it was like a TikTok or a reel, whatever. And what they do is they take a bunch of footage of a quarterback, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they essentially turn the video into a silhouette.
Oh,
so you
I've
can't,
seen these.
Yeah, you can't
guess
see
who it
the
is.
numbers or anything. You know nothing
Mm-hmm.
what player it is. All you see are the motions and who's throwing. It was like a minute and a half of just awesome play. Everyone in the comments is like, "Oh, this is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. This is prime Aaron Rodgers. Prime Aaron Rodgers. Brock Purdy." And it is. It's fun to watch it like that because you get to see just like the individual movement and kind of him doing that like step fake out thing and just letting the ball fly. It's
well,
good.
then let's go all the way there. This is from NFL on CBS since the start of last season. We have some comparisons. Win-loss record, Brock Purdy, 14-6. Patrick Mahomes, 14-6. Passing yards, Brock Purdy, 5,410. Patrick Mahomes, 5,087. Passing touchdowns to interceptions, Brock Purdy, 36-13. Patrick Mahomes, 33-19. Passer rating, Brock Purdy, 113.3. Patrick Mahomes, 92.1. Yards per attempt, Brock Purdy, 9.6. Patrick Mahomes, 7.1. Nate.
Yes.
I don't know what to do with this.
Yeah.
Of course, all of the first comments is have them switch rosters. That's the first comment.
Sure.
So I appreciate this. It more so says maybe we should be having a Brock Purdy better than Burrow conversation.
Yeah. Mahomes is
better
too
than
high.
Josh Allen. If you want to have the Lamar Jackson, if you want to have those conversations, I think that stuff like this says we can have those conversations, but I'm not doing this.
No.
I'm not doing this. I think it helps for arguments for him to be top 5 and maybe even top 3 and maybe even top 2.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing that.
This stuff happens all the time. You find similar stats to top tier guys and you go, oh my God, you're writing a specific narrative. I just saw, we have the TV in here, McAfee show's on. They're comparing 08 or 06 Manning to Jaden Daniels. And they have a very similar, like the highest completion percentage in their first 4 starts to a season.
Right.
Or something. And it's like 88% or something crazy with a minimum of 90 passes attempted.
Right.
So you can find these stats and compare them to all-time greats. Like Juwan Jennings just got into a list with T.O. and Jerry Rice for that game he had against the Rams 2 weeks ago. It's very pick and pull. It's not, swap the roster and see what happens. Mahomes beats him in the eye test all day, every day, because Mahomes just does freaky things. Brock does too. It's just not the same. Mahomes is on a different level. Everyone knows it. Everyone's already putting him in the history books. So that's fine. It's just too early to be saying things like this about Brock Purdy. But I think you have to at least admit, I think so. He's top 10 now, right?
Yeah.
Especially this season.
Especially this season. He's definitely
season.
top 10. I mean, Tua's hurt. Trevor Lawrence is terrible.
And Tua's bad.
But this could be, if you look at the top, it's a really random top 10, and that's what Dan Orlovsky was talking about. You got Geno in there. I think you'd have to have Baker in there. You got Goff in there. It's a funny, now people will say, Brock Purdy is top 10 in the weakest top 10
ever.
that we've had.
There's always
in the last 20. But it's not wrong.
Is CJ Stroud in there?
I don't think this year.
Yeah,
not so far.
Not right now.
Not right now.
I think if you're going forward, our lists we made were about kind of the going in. We made a QB
Jalen
list.
Hurts not in there anyway.
No, he's not. He's not playing.
Joe Burrow's
great ball.
not in there.
Oh,
Joe Burrow's in there.
He's playing great.
Yeah, Joe Burrow's in
I think
there.
he's 7-1 TD interception ratio.
Mm-hmm.
It's not his fault they're losing, in my opinion. Really, I mean, maybe a game or whatever. That's a different conversation.
You can keep him in. I'm fine with that.
Josh Allen's in there. He's putting the
Lamar's
back.
in there.
Lamar, even with his cruddy record, he's in there.
Brock is in there without
obviously
a doubt.
Mahomes is trying to just be in his own tier because he's taking out his own receivers now. So he wants to be like, look, I can do it with guys off the street.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just trying to get Amari Cooper on his team. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, with the Davantae Adams news, the Amari Cooper news has really
taking
got
the back
a little
seat.
quiet,
Yeah.
but I do feel like
Davante's not going.
I think the problem with the Browns is I don't know what they're trying to do. Why move off of Amari Cooper?
I don't know. The Browns are the biggest question mark in the NFL, in my opinion, because
Deshaun's 29, by the way, if we're talking timelines.
Yeah, I know the only thing I know about them is that their defense is pretty good. That's it. And that's kind of the only thing. You got Denzel Ward, you got Myles Garrett. Their offense with a different quarterback, I guess Joe Flacco proved that that's last year, though.
Well, so when somebody made the joke about Andy Dalton going from team to team like John Taffer and figuring out and saving the team, figuring out is your team bad or is your quarterback bad, Joe Flacco has essentially done the same thing. Joe Flacco took that Browns team to the playoffs, and Joe Flacco,
Colts this week, or
he's on the Colts.
He won the game.
And now he's done the same thing with the Colts. And not that we thought Anthony Richardson was bad, but Joe Flacco is proving this is a good enough. Hey, Joe, come play for us for a week. Do we have a good enough roster or not?
Yeah.
And Joe says, yes, you do. Or no, you don't. And I would say, I would love for him to play a game with the Raiders to just see where we're at with that. But as far as the Browns are concerned, 29 years old, Nate, are you looking for that's a good thing about the NFL if you stink, as long as you got your pick, and I'd have to double check, but assuming the Browns have their pick, assuming you have your pick, the Browns could stink, just eat it with, you can't, because Dak is done, and I don't even think the Browns would go in the direction of a free agent QB. You just stink, you go out, I don't know if his daddy will let him go to Cleveland, but you get a Shedeur Sanders, you get a Cam Ward, somebody like that, and you just, hey, we're stuck with Deshaun, but at least we know we have somebody once Deshaun is done.
I guess.
There's no option.
So the Browns are 1-3. I had to double check, make sure they're not 2-2.
But I guess why I'm bringing that up is that's a reason to move off of Amari Cooper if that's your plan.
Sure, but you also kind of want veteran receivers for your rookie quarterback, right?
Yeah, but Amari,
going on in Washington.
That timeline's not going to work.
Yeah, you're right. I think no matter what, you have to get as far as away from Deshaun Watson as soon as possible. So if that means bringing in Shedeur, even so, though it doesn't work, and I know I mentioned to you a couple weeks ago, I'm seeing mock drafts where Shedeur is going in the second round. Now I'm seeing him back to being the first overall pick.
That's right.
And it's a week to week with that guy because I don't know if that's how college always is. I'm kind of really starting to get into it more.
Now.
Yeah, it's an NCAA.
Sack 12.
Got me in. Yeah, Sack 12, and we got a text from Chris Watkins too. It looks like Sack might be getting March Madness coming in 27, but college is kind of blowing up here in Sack. It's great. In regards to Cleveland, Deshaun Watson, get away from that man. Just try something new, and it's Cleveland, so it's probably not going to work if that means moving on from even Myles Garrett and get your capital because he's in his prime. Denzel Ward's in his prime, like. What do you do? Do you feel comfortable enough with giving the the rookie, the keys to this franchise, like what the Colts did with Anthony Richardson, like what the Commanders are doing right now. Will that work? And do you think you can compete in that bloodthirsty division, arguably the hardest division in the NFL? I don't know. Just get away from Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
I would like to see a rookie there next year.
Yeah. To tie a bow on it. And you know, there are a couple guys floating around, but I just, if you're going to go with somebody young, and I'm not even going to joke about Trey Lance, but if you're going to go with somebody young, you're not going to trade for a Hendon Hooker or somebody like that. Just go out and get somebody fresh. It's so funny how these guys lose value, but I can't even and that's what's so funny. Sitting is supposed to help, but I don't. If I'm the Browns, I'd rather just go get a guy than, hey, Detroit, are you interested? You know, you got Jared Goff. You just paid Jared Goff. Somebody like that, to me, even if they've been sitting, I'd rather just go get a guy at the top. If you have an opportunity, if you stink that much, just go get a guy at the top.
Give it a shot. It hasn't worked for them in the past, really.
Maybe you bring in both.
Well, you also look at the league with all the resurgence quarterbacks. Baker's one of them.
Yeah.
You got Darnold, of course. You got, Flacco bounces around. Kirk to an extent. Guys that just, it wasn't working. Geno Smith. We talk about these guys all the time. Do they want to go that route? That's kind of a dangerous route. In my opinion, the Browns should take a quarterback with a top pick next year. Top pick being top 7.
Well, I'm just looking at the guy that I liked from UCLA that they do have on the roster. It just doesn't make any sense. So you have Deshaun Watson, you have Jameis Winston. I guess in case Deshaun gets hurt, because they clearly don't seem to. They haven't discussed benching him, but then you have Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who I liked, but
who's bad.
He played like 2 games last season.
That's true. I just, the juxtaposition between Jameis Winston and Deshaun Watson on the confidence meter is so funny too. Deshaun is in the middle of the earth low, and then you got a guy like Jameis Winston who has the most confidence I've ever seen in a human being and will just throw the ball. So you're on opposite spectrums with those two, which is, it's really weird. You think you want to give Jameis a shot. Maybe they don't, because maybe they do want to lose. Maybe they're at that point. It's really early in the season.
Yeah, they're not going to say anything.
But in that division, the Bengals are still alive at 1-3. They're going to be clawing. The Steelers had a nice head start. I think they'll float around 9-10 wins. What do you want to do if you're Cleveland? I think you make the decision now. And if you're keeping Deshaun in, I think you're making that decision to lose. I think that's what you're doing.
Coming up next, we get back into the NBA Media Day madness. We have some sound from Kawhi Leonard. We have some sound from DeMar DeRozan, Anthony Edwards, and Jimmy Butler. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Hey, this is Greg Papa. Are you working through a major insurance claim? Sunpoint Public Adjusters can help. Sunpoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to, not what just some adjuster working for an insurance company thinks you should get. Call Sunpoint today at 247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. Sunpoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884. Hey, movie fans, the sequel we've been waiting for is playing at the Esquire IMAX Theater in downtown Sacramento. Joker, Fully Adieu, the IMAX experience.
2 years ago, the name Arthur Fleck hit Gotham like a hurricane.
Joaquin Phoenix reprises his role and is joined by Lady Gaga.
Going crazy for you.
Experience this psychological thriller with heart-pounding audio on the Esquire IMAX 6-story screen.
Let's get the people what they want.
Grab your tickets early for Joker, Fully Adieu at IMAX.com/Sacramento and reserve your seats today.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Drapes, Kyle Draper. As the proud sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew, Alsco Uniforms offers certified hygienically clean lab coats, scrubs, bed linens, towels, floor mats, and an array of mops tailored for your healthcare facility. Our services include convenient delivery to your doorstep. Leading the way in healthcare laundry services in Northern California, discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's ALSCO.com.
There's no better time than now to get yourself into a brand new Jeep because it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, offering the best deals in town and a selection other dealers are jealous of. Stop on by. They're just off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Complex. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Stiles and Watkins in 15 minutes. If you missed our exclusive interview with Coach Mike Brown, it is coming up in 15 minutes. But first, we need to do this giveaway. Mike Epps, you know him, you love him. Mike Epps returns to Sacramento for a night of nonstop laughs. And of course, Sacktown Sports wants you in the building. All you have to do is hit up the Folsom Lake Honda hotline right now, looking for caller number 2, as in how we asked Mike Brown about the 2-guard position and whether it will be Keon Ellis or Kevin Huerter when we returns. Caller number 2 to score that pair of tickets. Check out Mike Epps at Hard Rock Live on October 12th, courtesy of Live Nation. For more information, visit sacktownsports.com. Caller number 2. I'm going to let Nate handle those calls before we get into some of the sounds from Media Day. So while we wait for one, Nate, 916 says, how about Carr for a resurgence? 916, are you talking about the Browns or the Raiders? Because I'm not leaving New Orleans if I'm Derek Carr. I'm not leaving New Orleans, especially they might get Davantae Adams. I'm not leaving. You know, you got Chris Olave, you know, you got Alvin Kamara. You're starting to figure things out there. I don't think Derek Carr wants to leave New Orleans. Then you get to play in a dome. You go to Cleveland, it's cold, outside. You can't go back to the. I mean, Derek Carr. If I believe one thing is true, I think Derek Carr has too much pride to go back to the Las Vegas Raiders, and I don't know why he would. Right? I think that ship has sailed, and like you know, you talk about relationships where you try it a second time. How often does it actually work out the second time? You know, I mean, sometimes it does, but most of the time it starts out great. And then you start remembering why you broke up in the first place. Let's get to some of this sound from Media Day. I want to start off locally with DeMar DeRozan. Nate has found a winner for the Mike Epps ticket. So congrats to you, Sergio. Congrats to you, Sergio. Try again tomorrow. DeMar DeRozan talks about how he's looking forward to mentoring Keegan Murray. Here it is.
DeMar, how exciting is it to, like with leading and things, how exciting is it to be able to be one of the guys that's going to help Keegan Murray, a young player?
I'm looking forward to that. I ain't gonna lie, I'm looking forward to that because even looking at him, I was the same way when I was young, quiet, didn't say much, just kind of went along with the flow. But you know, that kid Got a lot of talent. So it's gonna be fun just to be able to be a vet to him and kind of get him out of his comfort zone and take him to the next level.
Great stuff. So I thought that was a really good tidbit and a really good question, by the way, by Mark Haynes. But for DeMar to say, I kind of see myself like a Keegan Murray. I'm a quieter guy, and it's kind of hard for me to get out of my shell. And we see how DeMar is now. I mean, he has his own YouTube show. He's all over the place on different podcasts. So you never know. I personally thought, and you can go back and listen to the Keegan Murray interview that we did and watch it on YouTube. I thought Keegan was fairly outgoing. And I know he surprised Chris with how outgoing he was. And, if you saw him, he was messing around with Coach Mike Brown. He was smiling with teeth. He was doing a lot. So Keegan Murray, I would say, is definitely going to benefit on the court and off the court from having DeMar DeRozan around. All right, let's have some fun here with Kawhi Leonard. This is what he had to say about losing his fellow star, Paul George.
I don't feel like it's going to be harder for me personally. I didn't look at, for anybody I'm on the court with, I don't look at him to be my savior. I take in my own role and my challenges that I have to face each and every game and, going there and trying to dominate the game. So I don't think, with that being said, my mindset is going to change in that way.
Thank you, Kawhi. I don't look for anyone to be my savior, Nate. Just odd wording.
I thought he was gonna go maybe like a Joe Mazzulla route. Joe Mazzulla, has some religious things to say, and I kind of thought that's where he was headed, and he didn't. Yeah, I thought maybe just like a God is with me type thing, and I don't need. So he's always. I mean, and then the man is just so soft spoken.
Yeah, you have to crank that thing. Now you got to turn it down for the next one because we'll probably get our ears
blown out.
All right,
it's Jimmy Butler or Ant.
Yeah, let's go to Jimmy Butler. And Jimmy Butler, no crazy hairstyle, had the braid dread things 2 years ago. Then, of course, had the emo hair last season. But he's all business. This is what he had to say about the shenanigans that he did not partake in for this year's media day.
I'm here, normal hair, no shenanigans. That's all I got.
What did you want to do?
I don't even know. My mind isn't all the way anywhere right now. So I've been running around and trying to make it back here. So I just had to get here since.
He knew what he wanted to do. He had a little smile in that video.
Yeah, I do think that I don't know how this is going to happen, how this is going to end, because clearly you have Jimmy Butler, who has said he wants to be a part of the Miami Heat for the rest of his career. He's at 34, 35 years old. But there does seem to be some headbutting between Jimmy Butler and Pat Riley. If Jimmy Butler has to miss time this season, I think Pat Riley is going to be ticked off for a number of reasons because, number one, he's not on the court. Number two, if I'm the Warriors and that price tag that comes with Jimmy Butler wanted that extension. He has not gotten it yet. Nobody is going to touch Jimmy Butler if he is not healthy. So it's one thing. Pat Riley could live with Jimmy Butler playing and them losing because then he would just move him. But if Jimmy Butler suffers another injury, not that injuries are anyone's fault, but if Jimmy Butler suffers another injury, this thing could get pretty sticky because Pat Riley is going to say, you can't help us in any sort of way, and we can't move you because nobody's going to pay you that money if you're not healthy. So this is a huge – the Heat – they're coming to a point where we can talk about Heat culture and cool, but Pat Riley wants championships, and I just don't think they're in a position to win championships right now. You got Bam Adebayo, who I think is a different version of Domantas Sabonis in that he's really, really good, but he's also limited in some ways. Tyler Hero is another guy who can't seem to stay on the floor unless he's doing a music video with Jack Harlow. So I think the Heat have a lot of questions. And I do think this is the season where they will be answered. I don't know if that they would blow the whole thing up, but there are some guys that they're paying a pretty penny and they're hoping to be at a certain level. And now you have the Sixers adding Paul George. You still have the Bucks, even though Dame and Giannis didn't work together all offseason, which I thought was a little bizarre. I know neither of them are spring chickens, but I thought that was bizarre, but they're still around. You got the upstart Magic. You still got the Pacers. You got the Knicks now with Karl-Anthony Towns. So the Heat need to figure out what exactly it is that they're trying to do. Coming up next, we hear from the one, the only Coach Mike Brown in our exclusive interview from Media Day. If you missed it, it's coming up next. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
The handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients meet us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
They're going to give it. No, it's a play action. Purdy going to roll left, throw for the end zone. Caught by George Kittle. He has the hat trick tonight, a career high. 3 touchdown catches for George. Touchdown! San Francisco!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at folsomlakehonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at folsomlakehonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to folsomlakehonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
Can the Niners build off their NFC Championship appearance from last season? How will the quarterbacks perform throughout the year?
Purdy back, now going to throw for the end zone, wide open, Brandon Ayuk is on fire!
Will the defense lead this squad again?
Intercepted! Ball got tipped up and taken by Fred Warner!
Get all your 49er coverage throughout the NFL season on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
You've seen him on the roast of Tom Brady, and you've heard him host the #1 podcast in the world, Kill Tony. Now see Tony Hinchcliffe perform stand-up comedy live at the Venue at Thunder Valley, Friday, October 11th. The man behind millions of views worldwide and countless sold-out shows brings his stand-up set to you, Tony Hinchcliffe. Critics call him a must-see. Don't miss this stand-up comedian, writer, podcast host, and professional wordsmith live in Sacramento. Tony Hinchcliffe. Get tickets at ThunderValleyResort.com.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's got similar vibes.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Stiles and Watkins, congrats to our winner, Mike Epps tickets. We'll have another chance to win tomorrow and throughout the week. Watkins out today, just Stiles and Littlefield holding it down. Nate Littlefield behind the glass.
Doesn't sound as good.
Doesn't roll. You got too many. You got too many syllables.
Littlefield's a pretty unique last name.
Yeah, too many syllables there.
Yeah,
I'm a one syllable guy.
I know people ask. I've been asked a couple times. I'm related to Warren Littlefield, who's like a big producer guy, big money man guy, and I wish I was.
Well, yeah, it's tough because I feel like normally when for names to flow, like both Chris and myself, we have 3 total. So Chris is Chris Watkins.
Yeah.
Allen Stiles. So we both have 3 in different places.
Yeah. And then it's just Nate too, which is like,
Nate Littlefield. Yeah.
That's too much. And then I have 2 middle names.
Yeah. You got a dash in there.
No, they're separate, but I just have 2. So like growing up, I could never put my initials in an arcade machine. Devastating stuff.
Yeah. I feel for everyone's got their cross to bear.
Yeah, dude, and that's it.
I get it. All right, let's hear from Mike Brown as promised. Mike Brown joined us on Monday during Media Day to break down all things Kings. And yes, it has been floating around social media. The clip heard around the world about the 2 position. Now he's talking specifically about training camp, but where Keon Ellis falls on the depth chart with Kevin Huerter out and Malik Monk looking more like a 6-man. Here's our interview with Coach Mike Brown.
Today, for sure.
And
how's it going, Coach? Good to see you.
It's a special day when Mike Brown joins us. Mike Brown, thank you so much for joining us, head coach of your Sacramento Kings. And Coach, as we get your headset on, get you ready to go, Chris and I were talking about how Media Day reminds us of Picture Day when we were kids. Yeah. Were you big on Picture Day? Would you come, with your best fit on, your crispy shoes? Were you a Picture Day person, a kiddo?
I was a Picture Day person. The thing I always hate, I had an afro. This is when I had hair, right? Yeah. I had an afro, and I could never get my afro to be perfect like right. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Mike, it didn't matter how old Michael was. Michael had this beautiful afro.
He had like a mold almost.
Man, and mine was a little lumpy here, a little lumpy there, and that was the only thing I hated about Picture Day.
Yeah,
absolutely. Well, first off, congratulations also on the extension this offseason. How's it feel to just kind of feel like there's maybe a little bit of stability, even if it is just kind of mentally knowing like, all right, that's to the side and we can just kind of focus on basketball?
No, you know what? I thank our owner, Vivek Ranadiv, as well as the plethora of other owners that we do have, showing the confidence in myself and the staff to be able to continue trying to lead this ship in the right direction. And so thank those guys, Monty and Monte McNair and Martina as well. But it's exciting. Sacramento is where I want to be. My family loves it. I love it. And I do think we can do big things here. And I'm looking forward to trying to accomplish those things.
Awesome. Yeah, we can tell you love it.
Oh, yeah. Well, I was going to say, talking to Coach Mike Brown, you've been out in the community so much, and we talked a little bit last week about high school football. And I got to give you your kudos right here, because the backstory is we were chatting, and the conversation came up of, hey, I need to go. I'm trying to diversify the schools that I go to. I need to get out to Grant. So that conversation happened. Next thing I know, a couple of days later, I'm on Twitter. This man got to Grant immediately. You did not waste time. How important is it for you to be a part of the community and just really ingratiate yourself with everybody in Sacramento?
I tell you what, the fans in Sacramento no matter where I go, I'm walking on the street, I'm in the mall, I'm at the restaurant, I'm here in the arena, the fans are fantastic. And to be able to touch them and thank them for their support is something that I always try to do. And so getting out to Grant High School was something that I wanted to do. My stepdaughter, she goes to Oak Ridge High School, and so it's right down the street from me. I'm able to get to a couple of games before the season starts, and I love high school football, so I did it. But like you said, I wanted to make sure that I'm able to diversify of where I'm going and who I'm touching, and so to be able to go see that environment in Grant was a lot of fun.
How much have you been keeping up with? I don't know if you've seen the Sac-12 effort, the Sac State's effort to make the Pac-12. Have you seen much of it, and just kind of what are your initial thoughts on that movement?
No, I have. I think it's definitely a great thing.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't gotten out to any Sac State games this year. I went last year to I think at least one, if not two, but one for sure. And that can be a fantastic environment. You know, football in Northern California, obviously, as you guys know, is a big deal. And to have a team in the Pac-12 that has the capabilities or the possibilities that Sac State has. Oh man, good things can happen, because I know the people in Sacramento, let alone the kids that go to school there at Sac State, will rally behind the whole efforts.
Talking to Coach Mike Brown. All right, Coach, we started you off with some softball type questions. Now it's going to get a little tougher. There you go.
Knocked him out.
I knocked him out.
For sure. There you go. There you go.
2 for 2 with
You're 2 for 2. You're 2 for 2. So, you know, we're on the radio every single day. There's a lot of talk about the 2 position, right? And that 2 guard position, what's going to happen there as you head into camp? Is it a situation where it's going to be like a high school football tryout? You have no clue, and whoever impresses you the most is going to get the position? Or do you have an idea, but you could be swayed? What is your thought process at that 2 guard position going into the season of training camp?
Well, right now, Kevin is not healthy all the way, and so and I've said this to the media a little earlier. You know, having the luxury of a guy like Malik come off the bench, I've been fortunate enough to experience it with 2 of the best in Andre Iguodala and Manu Ginobili. And, you know, Manu came off the bench behind a career 6.2 scorer a game and Bruce Bowen. And there's not a single person in the world that would say, hey, I'd rather have Bruce Bowen on my team than Manu Ginobili, even though Bruce started. And between the 2 of them, they won 8 NBA championships. 7 of them were won when they were 6 men. So to be able to have that punch, like Hall of Fame coach Greg Popovich used to say when he talked about Manu coming off the bench, and even Steve Kerr, who's going to be in the Hall of Fame as a coach as well, to have that punch that those 2 guys talk about with a guy like Malik, with a guy like Manu, with a guy like Andre that can just tie things together, it's a luxury. And I feel like it's a luxury we should take advantage of. And so right now for me in the foreseeable future, that's what Malik's going to do. And again, everybody's like, well, Malik says he wants to start. He should want to start. I don't want anybody that doesn't have the competitive edge that or demeanor that Malik has. I embrace that, because I know at the end of the day, his best friend, his teammates, the organization, but more importantly for Malik, because he gets out there more than me, the city of Sacramento, he doesn't want to disappoint those guys, and he won't. So he's going to embrace whatever role he has to help uplift this team. And so with those 2 in mind, because those 2 are probably the most logical quote unquote starters in that position, Keon by default is gonna start there during training camp. He's going to be with the first unit, and we'll see what happens from there.
You've talked a lot about your relationship with Greg Popovich, and DeMar had him forward his book. What is your guys' relationship like now, and what do you think Coach Pop told DeMar about what to expect from you, and what has Coach Pop told you about what to expect from DeMar?
First thing is, you talk about DeMar's ability on the court. That's everybody sees that, but to know how humble he is, how caring he is, how good of a person he is, how he touches his teammates and uplifts them on a daily basis while trying to encourage them to play the right way and to be a part and embrace their roles. Those are things that you don't know about until you're around somebody and you face some adversity. And to be able to hear that from Pop about DeMar from Jump Street was something that really sold me on him, because it's obvious what you're going to get from him from a basketball standpoint. And I hope Pop told him that I'm great. I'm better than him. I'm better than Popovich. I'm going to help DeMar get to new heights. I hope he told him all those good things. But my relationship with Pop goes way back, and he'll always have a special place in my heart, because he's more than just a coach to me, or more than just a Hall of Fame coach to me. He's a guy that impacted my life off the floor just as much as he did on the floor.
Coach Mike Brown, thank you so much for joining. One more before we get you out of here. And like we said, it's been a pleasure so far. Another thing, we talked about the 2 position. Another thing a lot of people have been discussing is the 4, and whether DeMar, who's played some 4 before, whether DeMar will play the 4 or Keegan Murray might slide into the 4. What are you thinking things will look like? And obviously they could change when you get into camp and when you get the team together, but what are your initial thoughts on who might play where?
That's a great question, and right now, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody knows Domas is going to start, Roxy's going to start.
Yeah.
DeMar is going to start. Keegan's going to start, and again, Keon will probably fill in that 5th role right now. But we could easily fill that 5th role in with Trey Lyles and be a little bigger, which would slide DeMar to the 2 and Keegan to the 3, or we could fill it in with somebody else that's a bigger guy. So that's what training camp's all about. That's what the preseason is all about, to experiment with some things to see what fits, what makes sense, and hopefully by the regular season, we'll have it figured out. If not, again, I look at this thing as a journey or a process. We don't have to have all the answers come day 1 or come opening night. You just hope you can come close to what you want to do and then build in the right direction together, as in climbing together.
There you go. I like that. I might need one of those. Good talking to you, Coach Mike Brown. As always, catch him at your local high school football game.
You never know where he's going to be
next week. We'll be right back with more Stiles and Watkins.
Coach Mike Brown, great stuff from him. And the big takeaways is that 4 position is not that it's wide open. We know who will be playing there in some capacity, but he mentioned Trey Lyles. When he gets back, he could be a part of the starting lineup, and that could push DeMar DeRozan to the 2, or it could be Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray talked about wanting to get back in the post a little bit. So how much will that happen throughout the season? And of course, you have some other guys that might be able to slide in there. So great stuff from Coach Mike Brown. When we get back, we'll focus on the Keon at the 2 position and that situation. And a lot of people made a lot of that. And I understand, because starting from the bottom, now we're here. And Keon Ellis was a guy who, was on the G League last season. And now we're talking about this team being better and this team making a playoff run. And you have a guy as really a 2nd-year dude as far as getting legitimate time in the NBA. He's going to start at your 2, at least going into training camp. He's running with the 1s right now as we speak. Now, I know that Frankie Cardicelli did say that Mike Brown said it'll turn into an open competition once Kevin Huerter returns. But if you've ever been in a tryout yourself, you need to wait for that guy to slip up at that point, right? What could Kevin Huerter do unless Keon just isn't playing well in training camp? What could Kevin Huerter do in this limited amount of time to take that spot from Keon Ellis? I'm just not really sure that that's truly a possibility. But let's break it all down. Let's hear from you. Who should start at that 2 position when we return? 916-339-1140 if you want to be a part of the conversation. We'll be right back. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Everywhere you look, things are getting more expensive. So at Consumer Cellular, we're lowering the price for those 50 and up. Now you can get unlimited talk, text, and data for $30 a line when you buy 2. That's just $60 a month for 2 unlimited lines. So if you're 50 and up, make the switch and save. Come on, you've earned this. Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com today. Requires 2 lines of service, age validation, and credit approval, subject to system and area limits, taxes, and other fees apply.
Warning, the following ZipRecruiter radio spot you are about to hear is going to be filled with F words.
When you're hiring, we at ZipRecruiter know you can feel frustrated, and you can spend a fortune trying to find fabulous people, only to get flooded with candidates who are just fine. Fortunately, ZipRecruiter figured out how to fix all of that. We find the right people for your roles fast, which is our absolute favorite F word. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Great stuff from Coach Mike Brown. And I want to start here as Esteban shouts out the dark horse lineup: Fox, DeRozan, Keegan, Lyles, Domantas Sabonis. That could be a dark horse lineup. One thing that we did not see from or hear from Mike Brown, and I know a lot of people always will ask, is the Domas at the 4 conversation with Alex Len. I know that more so was brought up when the conversation was, could the Kings get another center? But basically that's not happening. I think we can finally close the door on that. And it sounds like, Nate, we could close the door on Malik Monk as a starter, as Mike Brown used the Manu Ginobili conversation and comparison, not just with us. I mean, during the media scrum, he's used it everywhere, right? He used an Andre Iguodala as well. He was talking about championship teams. So I do think that we can put that one to bed, but I want to ask the question to you, Nate, and to the listeners, 916-339-1140. I know I normally don't use this word, but I'm going to use it. Is it fair to Malik Monk to simply not get a look as a starter, right?
Well,
Mike Brown has essentially said he is better fitted for this team as a 6-man. That's what we're going to rock and roll with. And essentially, because that was the whole point of my question, Nate. With Kevin Huerter out, would there be any flippy floppy between Keon Ellis and Malik Monk at the 2? Mike Brown essentially said no. It's between Keon and Kevin Huerter. That's what he said. And I'm wondering, is it fair to Malik Monk to not even get a look at a starting role on this team?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's what Mike Brown is saying to us, right? It's not, we don't know for a fact that he didn't get a look. He's probably thought about it.
The look would be now, though, because it's a new team.
Yeah. And
the argument before was that the bench, I guess, didn't have enough scoring. And if you add Malik to the starting lineup, that bench would have nothing.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess the bench and to a lesser degree, Kevin Huerter is better as a starter. His shooting splits are better as a starter. I would say this: I think most people's batting averages are better as starters than as pinch hitters. So I don't know what to do with that information. The bench essentially didn't change. So I guess that's why the starting lineup changed. But as far as the Harrison Barnes for DeMar DeRozan swap, but maybe it's that simple. Our bench didn't really change. So how could we start Malik Monk because our bench hasn't changed?
I don't think it's fair, but I think it's the right move. This is a team decision, obviously, and Mike Brown is the head coach of the team, not, Malik Monk's guy.
Yeah.
I think this is the right move. I think the starting lineup with Keon at the 2, obviously everyone else knows their spots. And then to be able to have Huerter and Monk come off the bench at the same time, if Herter's playing pretty well. And I think most of the time his stats, he hasn't come off the bench for a large part of his career, right? Like he's mostly been a starter.
Yeah.
So those stats are I won't say they're a wash, but you could take a look at them.
That's what I'm saying too, man. I mean, anybody that goes through a transition, I just think it's always been wild to me whenever I heard that statement. Kevin Huerter has to start because he shoots better as a starter than a bench player. What?
Yeah,
he wasn't shooting well as a starter.
Yeah. So, and I think only maybe his rookie year, he was really coming off the bench. He kind of solidified his role.
He played, there were a couple stints in Atlanta. I remember Chris and I looking it up. He may have played more off of the bench than we realize.
Yeah.
But that doesn't matter to me.
No, and it matters more about the Kings to me. Obviously, like it's a totally different world here in Sacramento. I think they're a better team than any point that Atlanta team was with Trey, even though they did, they had their moments. I think right now to be able to have the firepower of Malik and Huerter off the bench is so valuable. And those guys are both going to get a lot of minutes. Like if Huerter is coming off the bench, he's going to get like 22, probably 23, and Malik's going to get his 30, right? And it's so cliche, but it's, who's closing the game? Herder's probably not closing the game because of defense.
No, he's not.
If they need him to shoot, if we're down by 10.
But that's why I don't know if Malik's closing the game. Because you got DeMar, it's not Harrison Barnes out there.
Yeah, it's Keon. Yeah, it's
Keon
in his defense.
Right.
Because who are you going to pull? Keegan and put
No.
Yeah, you're not going to do that. It's a size issue. It's to have Malik be in there.
I think
for
Malik
Keegan.
will have his spots if he's been red hot and DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron have just been a little ice baby that day. He'll have his spots. But yeah, I don't know how often he'll close because you don't need his offense as much as you needed his offense when you had Harrison Barnes out there, right? So I've said it before and I'll say it again. I won't say I'm worried, but I am very intrigued as to how this season ends up for Malik Monk. I do think he'll have plenty of moments with that second lineup for sure, but the starting conversation I think is done based on the interview we had. And the closing conversation, I'm just not really sure.
It's game dependent.
It's game dependent.
It's game dependent for sure.
But I do think it doesn't. If DeMar DeRozan and De'Aaron Fox, it would have to be Keon is just a complete brick out there.
Sure. And I think Keon will have a setback this year, and that's just because it's kind of his sophomore year, right? Sophomore year slump. There's tape on him now. People get it's a little different than the NFL, but people know what they're getting into more with Keon Ellis. So it's not a slight against him at all. It's people figuring him out, kind of like what happened with Keegan last year. If you have Kevin Huerter coming off the bench and he's scoring 10 points for you and he's shooting 40% from 3, 41% from 3, that's so valuable. It's insane. And if he's hot and Malik are both hot, I think Malik has a way better chance at finishing the game than Huerter does. If Huerter's hot, they're probably not going to keep him in at the end of the game. But if Malik's hot, I think Mike Brown's going to find a way to keep Malik in to finish that game with the Kings.
These are two guys that, and I can't wait to get Brandon Nunez in here and Frankie Cardicelli as well, because those are two guys where they will be affected the most.
Yeah,
Kevin Huerter because of Keon Ellis, and I guess to a lesser degree DeMar DeRozan. I would say more so DeMar DeRozan for Malik Monk because that offense that you've been getting from Daniel 916. It depends on what he was told. He is in Malik Monk in the offseason. He already gave us a discount. If he did so because he received some expectation that he would start, then I say Coach Brown has to give him a try as a starter.
That doesn't make any sense, though.
Well, no, but this is what I think happened. And this is just me. This is just me reading the tea leaves. I think that Malik Monk talked to the front office, talked to Coach Mike Brown, and they said, we're planning on making a move. It's not going to – you might not be a starter, but it won't be on the same roster. And when Malik Monk – because when we interviewed Malik Monk, which we're playing today at, I believe, 1 o'clock, when we spoke with Malik Monk, he said that he wanted to sign it immediately. Because when we asked, why did you sign so early? I wanted to sign it immediately so that they would have that taken care of to go out and make a move. So I believe the understanding was, I want to stay in Sacramento. I love the golf. I love being out here. They're going to make a move. Our team is going to make a move. If they don't make a move, then let's have the conversation about me starting. But they ended up making a move. So then he ended up, I believe he's okay with, like I said, you can come off the bench. Manu Ginobili, if Coach Mike Brown, you're bringing up championship teams. You're not bringing up coming off the bench for a 9 seed. There's a difference.
No, I think you're totally right about I think all the pieces are being put together now that, in hindsight, I think there was a lot of questions this offseason, and we didn't have all the puzzle pieces. Now, I think we pretty much have them all to fill everything out. Your theory about them going, hey, we're going to grab a guy, we're going to do something. I think there'd be a huge problem if they didn't. I think Malik would probably be upset. And if he wasn't starting in this role, I think that'd be awful. Imagine that lineup of Keon Huerter filling the DeMar and 2 role, right? And say if DeMar never came here. And then Malik still coming off the bench.
You'd have Harrison Barnes.
Most likely, right? Yeah, or whatever it was. Yeah,
right.
It would be. I think Malik would be furious that he re-signed. So there must have been some, not like a back alley deal.
They might have, thrown out some names. These are the guys.
Yeah.
We're going to get one of these dudes. We're pretty sure we're getting one of these dudes.
This is our plan. I don't think you can say we're getting one of these guys, but we're putting everything out there.
We have a plan A through plan F.
Yeah.
Okay. And unless all of these fall through, we will not ask you, or you're not going to have to come off the bench for the same roster or a similar roster.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
It's kind of crazy, too, because there's no way that's written anywhere or anything. That's Malik trusting.
Yeah.
Which is like, I think that's a great sign for the Kings.
Yeah.
I think that's great for the culture, for everything. And that is not something we are used to in Sacramento. We are used to debauchery here and just terrible, terrible things happening. So I think that is going to show another shift, or the shift continuing here, and how everything's working. And it's fantastic.
Coming up next, we will hear some sounds from the Giants presser, Greg Johnson, on moving off of Farhan Zaidi, and Buster Posey on his general philosophy in keeping one Blake Snell. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out SacktownSports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on SacktownSports.com.
Get ready to hit the gas on the best power tool deals of the year at Fasteners Tool Outlet. We're revving up the savings with our full throttle one-day DeWalt sale in Sacramento on October 12th only. We are slashing prices on a huge selection of DeWalt power tools like cordless drills, saws, combo kits, and more at costs you won't believe. Get better tools for better prices only at Fasteners Inc., Sacramento's top destination for DeWalt tools. Again, that's October 12th only on Power Inn Road. For more info, go to fastenersinc.net.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is the only store in the world to be named the top 100 shop for 40 years straight. Yes, the only golf shop in the world. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Try any club on the shelf on the driving range for free and let our staff show you everything you need to look and play better. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue, Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter, locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America N.A.
Tired of ads interrupting your favorite news podcasts? Good news! Ad-free listening on Amazon Music is included with your Prime membership. Stay up to date on everything newsworthy with podcasts like The Daily, Up First, and 5 Things Uninterrupted at Amazon.com/ad-free. Just head to Amazon.com/ad-free to catch up on the latest episodes without the ads.
Hi, this is Greg Papa. Disasters hit every day. If your home, business, or building has suffered from any disaster, SunPoint Public Adjusters can help. SunPoint prepares, presents, and negotiates your claim with the insurance company, working only for you, making sure you get everything you're entitled to and letting their focus be on what's most important, your family or your business. Call SunPoint today at 888-247-7865 or contact us at sunpoint.us. SunPoint Public Adjusters, the gold standard in public adjusting.
License number 2N14884.
Don't let summer energy slip away. Live the active life you love year-round with a personally fit arch support system from the Good Feet store. Precision engineered to support all 4 arches. Good Feet puts your feet in a more ideal, comfortable, and pain-free position. And Good Feet arch supports are now HSA and FSA eligible. Book a free fitting at goodfeet.com or come in and get a free pair of OS First Performance socks. Free. Normally a $25 value at the Good Feet store.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local experienced litigators, and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free, and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Fall's right around the corner, and there's no better way to experience nature and everything that Northern California has to offer than in a Jeep. And right now, it's Jeep Adventure Days at Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. And they've got the deals and selection for you. From sales to service, they're going to prove to you why they deserve your business. Their GM, Chuck Dean, he has this talent of not only getting you the best deal in town, but he also is able to build an inventory that other dealers are jealous of. SacsSuperstore.com and located off of Business 80 across from Hagen Oaks Golf Course. Sacramento Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
A lot of sounds coming from the Giants presser introducing Buster Posey yesterday, and a lot of people are excited. I did see some say that they wanted more of a play. I mean, it's so funny. I just can't help. And I know I'm not supposed to do this. I'm going full Carmichael Dave, but it is so funny the parallels between it seems like Buster Posey and these, the debates with the election coming up. What is the plan? What is the actual plan? A lot of people, some people just felt good and were just all blinded by the fact that it's Buster Posey. It can't go wrong. There were also a lot of Giants fans that I honestly a bit surprising to me, but they expected more of a concrete plan from Buster Posey. I mean, this is the introductory press conference, and I think as a lot of people, as I maybe thought, hey, this is the intro press conference, they'll get into the details. A lot of people said the opposite. You can be tight-lipped with us the rest of the time, but this is the one opportunity to give us more.
Yeah, I as a Kings fan, I'm worried for Giants fans.
Why?
This happened with the Kings with Vlade Divac. Vlade was beloved before he became a GM. People were pretty excited when he got here, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now, like, a lot of people don't really have a ton of love for Vlade. It is definitely not the same after what we went through as Kings fans pre-Monte McNair.
Yes.
And there's, I won't say hate towards Vlade, but it is not on the level of like.
I mean, he got embarrassed in that arena by Luka.
Yeah,
he got pointed at.
That's a small piece of the whole thing. You have his comments before DeMarcus was traded. I had a better deal 2 days ago. You have obviously not taking Luka.
Yeah.
So like, I am worried for Giants fans because. Correct me if I'm wrong. All Giants fans love Buster Posey, right?
That is 1,000% correct.
If he comes in and does some silly things, which I'm not saying he's going to do, I'm just saying it's on the table for, a new, not a GM, but he's the head of baseball operations, right?
Right.
If he makes some mistakes, I would hate to see a fan base turn on a guy they love like Buster Posey.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I've been thinking about kind of all weekend. I wanted to talk about during media day when it happened, but obviously we didn't have time.
Mm-hmm.
That's been floating in my head.
That's a good point. Look, I guess what's interesting is that what the Giants did was so unheard of during that stretch that expectations are a bit confusing. This isn't the Yankees, right? But it's also not, and we'll hear some sound from their owner, the Diamondbacks, right? And they're more. I would say they have more cachet than a good amount of teams in Major League Baseball, but they're not at the top, right? They're not like I said, the Yankees of the world, the Dodgers of the world, as far as brands and things like that. So I think he'd have. I think he'd have to be really bad. I also think that in basketball, it's a lot easier to lay blame. Farhan, it took a while, and it was, a bit confusing. Okay, are you here to fix the books? Are you here to draft correctly? Vlade, it was much in basketball. It's much easier because there's no minor leagues besides the G League. It's much easier to point out this is where this dude messed up. I think it's harder to lay that type of blame and hatred
on one person. And again, Buster's not going to be the GM.
Yeah, you got Ward in the chat here saying take Vlade's jerseys down. So yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to be gentle with that.
It's not
but
the same.
It's nasty now.
It's not the same. And they're going to get a GM now. Buster would be responsible for hiring that GM. But I just think it's a lot easier to get that type of pushback because you're drafting a guy, he needs to be good immediately. In baseball, you got the minors, anything can happen. So I just think it's harder to stink that bad. Farhan didn't stink. They just weren't moving in the right direction. They didn't get worse. They just never really got better.
Do you think it's on the table though for this to go south with Giants fans? I
think it'd be really tough.
Yeah, it'd be really tough.
I think it'd be really tough.
Because, hopefully people won't remember him unless he's amazing. In 30 years, they won't remember him.
I don't think that's possible.
Unless he, And
let's not forget, not to be disrespectful here, Vlade, they didn't win a championship. Buster won 3.
Yeah, no,
so,
you're totally right. But the Kings, that started, I remember Katie Christensen saying this a long time ago. If the Kings won a title today, and whatever she said this, I think a lot of Kings fans, when I'm paraphrasing, would still think that 01-02 team is the greatest Kings team of all time.
You're probably not wrong.
So we hold that team to a very, very high standard, that early 2000s team.
Well, speaking of, let's actually go to Buster Posey and his general philosophy on scouting and building a team. Let's hear from the new president of baseball operations.
Alex, hi. Greg, this is for you. Last year you answered a question about the luxury tax.
That was Greg Johnson. We have that as well, but we're going to get to Buster in a second here.
As far as, general philosophy, I think it's, as many of you know me, a lot of my, basic principles are pretty simple. I want us to be known as a team that's, the ultimate prepared team, one that's fundamentals are held at a really high standard. And ultimately, this is all about the players. It's all about putting great players on the field. And I think our job as a front office, with Bob here as a coaching and the coaching staff, is to be able to identify those players and then get the most out of them.
There you go. Straight up. I mean, there were a couple of moments where there was some laughing going on, but let's not kid ourselves. Buster was never necessarily known for being the best soundbite. All right. Let's hear from chairman of the board of directors. This is Greg Johnson, and he straight up gets asked why they moved off of Farhan Zaidi, and this is what he had to say.
Alex, hi. Greg, this is for you. Last year you answered a question about the luxury tax, but in the time since, the A's have left the Bay Area.
Nate really wants to play this luxury
Greg,
tax
this
sound.
is for you.
All right, I gotta step in. This is horrible. I'm so sorry. I just love the luxury tax just so much, man. I really think everyone should hear about it. But here's the actual clip you wanted, Alan.
Thank you.
Greg Johnson, a big day for you guys. But first, I want to take you back to the last few years and the decision you had to make. I know you did talk about the respect you have for Farhan Zaidi, but ultimately, what was kind of the biggest factor for you? Was it the lack of winning, or some of the player development issues?
Probably a combination. I mean, I think at 6 years, you hope you're in a better position and not still looking at a 500 team. And I think we kind of made an all-in bet with some one-year deals to try to get us at least to that into the playoffs, and that didn't happen. Now, the other I think decision point was Buster moving forward, and before we'd made any decision, saying, "Hey, I want to do this." So I think that probably increased the probability of us obviously making a change. Then that we had that. If we had to open it up for a search, who knows what would have happened.
There you go, Greg Johnson, who is the chairman of the board of directors, talking about why they moved off of Farhan. Look, hopefully this works out. Obviously, Buster has been a part of the organization, but it's going to be, I wouldn't call it a JJ Redick situation, but it's going to be really important who they pick for that GM role moving forward for the Giants to figure this whole thing out. Coming up next, we have a little fair or foul. You have two NFL players, and one is joking about the other's teammate getting burned during a game. NFL fans and NFL players, this is on a player podcast, of course, they are up in arms saying this is not the NFL. This is not the football we grew up on. We have Turkey Bowl around the corner. You got better rivalries in Turkey Bowl than what you got in the NFL right now. We will play that sound and tell you who it is when we return. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Herter is Sacktown Sports.
Herter's open, steps into three. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Herter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all.
Model year-end savings are going on now. It's savings you just can't say no to.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company's own loan report.
Hey, what's up, Sacramento? It's Kyle Draper. Turn up the cleanliness at your restaurant, healthcare, or industrial business with Alsco Uniforms, the official sponsor of the Sacramento Kings Mop Crew. We've got you covered with crisp uniforms, hygienically clean linens, floor mats, and of course, mops delivered weekly. But that's not all. Alsco Uniforms also offers weekly services for first aid and restroom supplies. Discover why it pays to keep clean with Alsco Uniforms. Just go to alsco.com to learn more. Again, that's ALSCO.com.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Imagine taking a nice warm bath in your shower. Let's fix that. Right now, get that clogged drain unclogged for just $67. Plumbing, sewer, electric, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
I'm trying to confirm this stuff here. I don't know. There's a lot of yesterday when we mentioned Aaron Rodgers on Pat McAfee, doesn't sound like he's going to be at Cal, and that makes sense. Doesn't sound like he's going to be at game day, but he was just excited that game day was going to Cal. Now I'm seeing a post that says, Beast Mode says, come out Saturday to Cal, Miami, A's fans, and they have a deal going on. But again, the way that's written, it would make you want to think that Marshawn is going to be there, but I don't know. So I'm not going to sit there and say, hey, Marshawn's going to be at game day. I don't know who's going to pop up, but I'm sure there are going to be some Bay Area legends that do show up. As Nate, I'm sure you saw that clip of Marshawn back in the day on the cart.
I actually saw a breakdown of it the other day. Recently, it might have been on Club Shay Shay, but he doesn't really give a good reason for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And how did he not get in like a lot of trouble for that? Because it's kind of insane.
I don't know that he did. I mean, it was just a different time back then, man.
I guess. If I was his coach, I would imagine they probably just tore him apart. But then he's probably too good.
I mean, they were nasty back then.
They were.
So you can do whatever you want. This is from SI. This is from Cal Bears on SI. 17 hours ago, we ranked the top 20 people who could represent Berkeley on the college football pregame show Saturday morning.
This is a little silly.
Well, I guess my point is nothing has been announced yet.
Yeah.
So I will not put
the
you
top
through
20 people that could be on a show talking about.
Spoiler alert. Number 1 is Marshawn Lynch. Number 2, Tony Gonzalez. Number 3, Alex Morgan. Number 4, Jared Goff, which again, I got to look at. Yeah, that'd be a quick.
That's going to happen.
That'd be, it's because, I got to see where do the Lions play this weekend.
Yeah,
I don't think that's happening.
Regardless, flying all the way out.
Number 5, and that's why I don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to be there.
No.
Number 5, Ron Rivera. Number 6, Jason Kidd. Number 9, Tom Hanks. Told you he's a Bay Area guy.
Let's get Chet Hanks in there.
Number 10, Colin Morikawa and or Max Homa. They both graduated from Cal. Number 11, Aaron Rodgers. There you go. Number 15, Jaylen Brown. Number 14, Christopher Law knew this, Chris Pine.
Oh, Captain Kirk?
Yeah. Number 18, Steph Curry. They're in Hawaii, so I don't know about that one. Number 16, Billy Joe
didn't even
Armstrong.
play at Cal.
No.
That's so silly. That one is dumb.
Number 19, Mark Madsen, Cal's men's basketball coach and former NBA player. Number 20, Kamala Harris. I don't know who is going to.
I don't think she would fit very well into that group. Is
that actually would be pretty hilarious.
Yeah, this is a political show now.
This is Dave's fault. So those are the top 20, some of the top 20 candidates for who may show up to be the celebrity guest picker for College Game Day. So that was 17 hours ago. So yeah, as far as I'm seeing, nothing has been announced yet. Okay, speaking of football, this one is a classic fair or foul. Micah Parsons and his podcast can't play, but he can pod. He was on with Darius Slay after the Eagles got handled, and Micah Parsons proceeds to make fun of Darius Slay's teammate, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, who is always getting roasted because he said, I'm putting belt to butt with the butt spelled differently. And I think he said it twice before the game and proceeded to give up a touchdown. And the Bucks did damage against the Eagles. So now, and this is probably already scheduled, but now big play Slay, Darius Slay has to go on Micah Parsons' pod, and Micah Parsons proceeds to joke about it. And again, obviously we just have the audio, but they are laughing about it. And when I tell you that former NFL players are losing it over this, and some fans as well, because they're saying this is not what happened to the game I love. This is not the NFL that I grew up on, and it's a little bit weird. Okay, here's the clip.
Man, your dog CJ, man, he had some stuff said for the game. He struck again, bro.
Man, bro, that's my dog.
And before we get into this, bro, I'm not trying to, like, y'all know, bro, I'm all positive, bro. I'm not trying to attack CJ at all. Right. I know he took what I said personally, and before I even get into it, who we think he is, like, in terms of how we feel, bro, like, we all in the NFL. How one of us saying that another person don't belong here, they just that type of person, like, you feel me though? Like, even with a Pro Bowl, all pro, like, we still could be humbled at any moment. Like, we still gonna get beat. I'm gonna still get locked up maybe for a game or a rep. It's just a game of football. It's just how it happens.
It happens.
So, like,
man.
What's your thought on that, bro? Like,
yeah, hey, one thing I know about 8, man. 8 go bring the noise. 8 go bring the energy. And 8 go bring all the trash talking that half the team's not doing. So he fulfilled that need for us. You know what I'm saying? He a guy with a lot of energy. He go talk that trash, but hey, you go talk, you gotta back it up at some point in time. And if you don't, he know for sure that media go catch it on the attention, and he gotta be ready to answer every time. Because if he don't, the media go his ass every time. But you know what's up with him, man. You know what's up with him. He gonna do it. Now, hey, I told him do your thing, man. But hey, now you don't perform the way you want to perform, they gonna get back on you.
Bro.
Fair or foul, Nate, this whole conversation.
Cancel all these shows right now. Cancel every single podcast player show, current player show. Just get rid of them. We'll pretend it never happened. And that's it. So foul. It's just stupid.
Yeah.
It's just, if
you're CJ,
I just don't care. It's not the buddy stuff that bothers me.
Okay.
It's the content is so bad. I would bet a fair amount of money if these people who are so upset, these former players, if they had social media and had all the money these guys were getting and had these opportunities, we'll be doing the same thing.
Okay.
That's my guess.
You don't care that they're doing it from a player standpoint. You care because it's just not good.
It's a waste of everything.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not fun. Like you hear Micah Parsons trying to set up a question.
Yeah.
And he just stops talking.
And Slay is just sitting there.
And then he goes, well, I guess what I'm trying to say, and don't get me wrong, I do this stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an idiot. I'm not making that kind of money. It's whatever. I don't deserve it. But to hear this over and over again, to just have no direction for one guy being solo and trying to run a show, it's not working.
Well, and maybe that's why Debo, and they're both through Bleacher Report, but maybe that's why Debo said, yeah, I don't want mine to look like that. Right.
Did he say that?
No. I'm saying maybe that Debo has a moderator and Micah Parsons.
And he has more of like a actual show set up. Micah Parsons looks like a streamer set up on Twitch.
And I think that's on purpose.
Yeah, just easy. I'm not complaining about either one, how they look. It's what I'm hearing, and it's just pointless. And all it does is just give, I guess, and this is what you want to, just fuel to the fire for clicks and for them saying stupid things.
Yeah.
That's all we're getting out of this. And I just don't like it.
Okay, but just humor me.
Okay.
If you were CJ Gardner-Johnson and you saw Darius Slay on the pod, would you feel any type of way, or would you just understand this is what people do? Micah he had to go on the pod. We trying to get this money. He had to go on the pod. Micah brought it up, and I don't think Darius Slade necessarily said anything wrong.
No, he didn't.
But yeah, I don't think CJ would actually be upset about it. But the former players that are just saying, "What are we doing with this?" I don't deny that you're probably right, and they'd be doing the same thing. But they didn't have this opportunity, so they can sit there and claim that it is BS. Yeah. And I mean, it is kind of weird. I mean, and let's not forget, this is Eagles Cowboys having this conversation, which is a whole nother level. I mean, that's one of the biggest rivalries in the NFL. So content aside, I do think that as you have fans, I'm torn here, Nate, because part of me feels like you have fans that pay their hard-earned money and they really, really bleed this stuff. They bleed green if they're Eagles fans. They bleed blue and silver if they're Cowboys fans. And for them to see that, they're seeing that these guys, the way they take their competitiveness is a bit differently than you. The other part of it, to be completely honest with you, Nate, is that maybe it's a good thing. Maybe we'll have less fights. Maybe we'll have less people just obsessing in ways that they shouldn't obsess when they see these guys and how they can laugh about these situations, but you're in jail in the drunk tank because you're defending the honor of a team that doesn't even know you.
And obviously that's more of a reflection on the individual, the guy who's in the drunk tank in jail, the guy who ran across the field or did whatever.
I mean, it's the fights for me.
Yeah, it is almost like, not like a gang, but it's like, oh, you see, if I'm walking down the street Niner stuff and I see a guy in Seahawks stuff, I don't like that guy.
Sure.
Immediately.
Right.
It is weird from the player's standpoint, and obviously they can talk to each other a lot easier and interact more because of technology. And I hate using that as a crutch, but sure, I understand you think it might be better to see these guys talk to each other and work, be cool with each other. But it does suck when you are watching the game live and you're like, did Micah not go as hard as he could?
Right. No, I'm talking about, yes, I think that if they're going to do this anyway, maybe this could help for the situation of just some of the stupid stuff that we see and just the
day-to-day animosity.
Yeah, the day-to-day animosity that leads to fights and things like that. Hopefully. But on the other side of it, and the venom we see from different fan bases. But on the other side of it, if I'm already one of those fans and I'm not changing anyway, right? I do think this is kind of a rough look because it's, okay, I'm going to spend, I mean, in football, that's the most expensive seats, right? I spend my whole day, and no one's asking you to. That's why maybe this is a reality check, but I spent $1,000 to take my family to the game. You guys sat there and I watched CJ Gardner-Johnson get torched, right? I live in Tampa. I went to see the game. I saw him get torched, and now I got to watch Darius Slay on Micah Parsons' podcast, who I also hate because he's a Cowboy, laugh about it.
But that's the thing. You don't have to watch.
You don't have to.
Yeah, and you shouldn't.
You definitely shouldn't.
You really shouldn't watch any of these shows because people are going to clip them and show the worst of it. I think we analyzed one Debo sentence for 3 segments.
He was with Amon-Ra St. Brown, who also has his own pod.
We've pretty much banned that show from playing on these airwaves.
Well, it's got to be
from 10 to 2.
It's got to be something of note. But yeah, it's just what it is now. Honestly, Nate, what I think is going to happen, and I don't know if it's just based on it. If it's based on actual episodes, then I don't know how much long this lasts because I really don't know how many people with so much content is out there right now. They're listening to full episodes. But if it's based on clips and going viral, then it might be around for a while. I don't even know how long Micah Parsons' show is. I mean, are these 30-minute guys?
No, I don't know how long Debo's is either. And in 5 minutes, tops. Then we cut it. That poor woman who has to be the mediator on Debo's show.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess, I don't know. Maybe they saw Micah solo and they went, all right, we just need anyone in there to help drive.
So you're saying fair for the players to do it if they're being offered it, but and fair as far as, hey, this is just kind of is what it is right now. I don't really have a problem with the interaction, but foul just because it's just not good content.
I'm just gonna say foul all around. The only people I'm not upset, player can take the money. I get that. I have never seen personally a number be dropped on how much these guys are making, and I'm really just talking about the 2 Bleacher Report shows, the Debo and Micah Parsons show. Those are the prime example here. I haven't seen if it's $500K per episode.
There's no way.
Yeah, well, if it's like a $10 million show for a span of weeks or whatever.
There is a way.
There's definitely a way because these are players. They're not going to waste their time.
That's true.
Well, on top of that, Bleacher Report has to build a studio next to where these people are.
What are they getting? If you're making the type of money that Debo is making and
you have to go
let's say
out.
Amon-Ra, what are you getting out of bed for?
Yeah, it has to be a ton because you're also, as the player, and if it's not the player who realizes this, the agent must, that you're running the risk of every week of damaging your brand, right?
Yeah.
Of going out and saying something stupid.
Yeah.
Every single week, you're under a microscope. On top of the microscope, you're already under at the podium for once a week.
What was it again? Correct me if I'm wrong. The In the Heights with the Kelseys, was that 100? Was that 10 mil or 100 mil?
I don't know, and I don't care. I don't like I'm not into that either. I'm not into
100 mil. 100 mil with one.
Yeah, and it's
I guess the only reason I bring it up, if they're going with 100 mil, could Debo be getting 500K an episode?
Yeah. Yes.
I think
definitely.
the answer is yes.
Yes,
because there's probably. I think the kicker is there's probably not that many episodes.
And look how much they invested into this. They promoted it pretty well. And they have spent a lot of money on a studio, and we know that leases are not cheap in the Bay Area. So wherever that studio is,
wherever it is,
it's costing them a lot of money.
It's in its house. All right. Coming up next, we get into our Malik Monk interview. Hear about Malik Monk and his improved golf game, his expectations as far as a 6-man and possibly starting and more. This is from Media Day, our exclusive interview with Malik Monk. And when we return, we will hear from Vic Tafer of The Athletic as really, we should be getting some new news on the Davantae Adams situation with the Raiders shortly. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area, A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
She used to meet me on night side.
Khalid, live in concert. See him performing at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. Get tickets now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss the sensational Khalid for one night only at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. For more, visit KhalidOfficial.com.
Model Year End pricing is back at Folsom Lake Honda, your one-stop Honda shop.
During the Model Year End event, lower interest rates at Folsom Lake Honda make lower payments. It's no wonder why Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop. Come in today or check out our entire inventory online at FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Get an instant cash offer for your trade at FolsomLakeHonda.com. We'll buy your car whether you buy from us or not. Folsom Lake Honda is your one-stop Honda shop.
Folsom Lake Honda.
Go to FolsomLakeHonda.com.
Your one-stop Honda shop.
KHD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD3 Sacramento.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
Sacktown Sports 1140.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Without further ado, here is Malik Monk, our exclusive from Media Day. If you missed it, and if you are about to get out the car, get to the grocery store, whatever it is, you can check it out on YouTube as well. Malik Monk, who should have been Sixth Man of the Year. We talk about that and much more here on Sacktown Sports, an exclusive during Media Day. Here it is.
We are back. Stiles and Watkins taking you up to 2 p.m., joined by the one, the only Malik Monk. Malik, thank you for joining us, man.
Appreciate for having me, man. Appreciate for having me.
So let's just get this out the way, right? We got a bunch of basketball questions, but I need to know, because Chris and I, we went golfing a couple weeks ago.
That's
I got him this time.
Okay.
How is the handicap looking? What's working for you right now, and what do you still need work on? Is it the flop shots? Is it the driving? How's the golf?
Bro.
Okay, yeah. Yeah.
If I could hit my driver, bro, I'll probably be like a 10.
What? That's golf.
Yeah.
That's all of us,
That's
man.
how it goes,
That's
man.
how
Like
it goes.
a 10 handicap if I could hit my driver, but my iron's all right.
Okay.
I can put, and I can chip. So
okay.
I dropped my score like 15 scores from last year.
Man,
Though, so
wow.
Yeah, I can't complain.
Yeah.
Sacramento course is treating you well?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Got a membership Granite Bay now. So
nice.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
I got a few more membership they said I was gonna get for free.
I also heard that.
I'm trying to see,
you need to cash in on those for sure.
I'm trying to see.
There was a lot of people who made a lot of promises. If Malik comes back, I heard
they went to Honda.
Yeah.
They went to Honda.
Funny how that happens.
It's crazy. I'm gonna find them though. I'm gonna find them.
I think somebody was supposed to make a sandwich named after you. There was a lot.
There's a lot. There's a lot.
I seen a lot too, man. I seen it.
We're gonna send out
hold them up though.
Yeah.
Hold them up.
Keep receipts. Keep receipts, man.
Sure.
Well, besides the golf, which is beautiful, even when it's not too hot out here.
Yeah.
What were some of the other reasons you decided to not only stay in Sacramento, but just your decision just happened? Nobody had to sweat anything. So we want to thank you on behalf of all Sacramento Kings fans. So what were some of the other reasons you decided to stay?
First of all, man, this like home. I've been saying that since I got here. So it's kind of hard to leave home, especially when everybody's with you.
Yeah.
And then you can go to a different situation and you don't know everybody over there. You don't know the love. You don't know if it's real or not. So I knew everything here was genuine. And of course I knew we was gonna make some big trades or things based off what I do. So I just tried to get that out the way as soon as possible so we can make some moves. And I think we made a big move to get DeMar. And I feel like that helped us. So that was a part of it.
What are you hoping to learn from DeMar? I mean, I think you obviously expanded your pick and roll game last year. DeMar's been eating off that for a while now, his mid-range game. What do you kind of hope to pick up from him?
Patience. Just patience, man. He's never in a rush.
Yeah.
And sometimes I be moving too fast and I'm in a rush. So I'm just pick his brain on how to stay composed, man.
That's awesome.
Talking to Malik Monk of your Sacramento Kings. Malik, we just got done talking to Coach Mike Brown, and he was referencing a lot of the Manu Ginobili's and a lot of the things that you've heard probably ad nauseum at this point when it comes to the sixth man. We know you got injured last season. So is there a part of you that feels like I want that revenge tour to get that sixth man, or how are you approaching that?
Last year, I should have won it, of course.
You lost it by one vote. Literally by one vote.
Yeah.
And they play, and the stats they were showing was him starting.
Yeah.
I thought it was coming off the bench. First off.
Yep.
Then they say we wasn't winning.
Mm-hmm.
Then so the year before that, I led in everything too.
Yeah.
And we was number 3 seed, and I still didn't win. So
make it make sense.
I ain't worried about it, man. I'm just trying to go out here and win some games and play until the end. Try to hold up the trophy.
The one trophy, the one award you did get last year was the GQ Stylish Player of the Year.
For sure.
How much does that mean to you? I know you obviously care a lot about your fashion. And is there anybody on the team? I know people were making a lot of Devin's outfit on draft night. Is there anyone you're
with me?
I didn't think so. I had a feeling you were going to say that.
I'm not worried about that. But yeah, that shows a lot, man. Because I don't have a stylist. And
you don't. You said
do not.
Wow.
Do not. Put it all to in my brain, man. To myself. So that was a lot, but it's basketball, man. So
right.
I'm trying to win some basketball games and hold the trophy that matters, man.
Yeah.
Malik, when I believe you were interviewed while the play-in was going on, or maybe right after the play-in had ended, and you had basically mentioned that if you felt like you played, the team would have been in the playoffs, right?
1,000%.
Right. So with that being said, you're healthy now. DeMar DeRozan's here.
Yeah.
Okay. Devin Carter, when he gets back, Keon another year.
Yep.
De'Aaron Fox. Where do you see the ceiling for this team?
DeMar said Western Conference Finals, didn't he? Did y'all see that?
I did see that. Yeah.
I guess
Why not?
I guess I got to say that.
Yeah.
Got to hold him up to that one. For sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And what in general do you hope to? I mean, now that you kind of have your contract situation locked up, just kind of by the end of your 3 years, if you can't stay all 3 years here, what do you hope to accomplish by the end of that?
Like I say, at least get to the Western Conference Finals, man. And if we get there, try to win a trophy, man. Just make deep playoff runs.
Yeah.
If we don't come up on top, I just hope we in the playoffs and make it deep runs and know we can say we ended with a fight.
Sure.
Talking to Malik Monk. Malik, it's been great. Before we get you out of here, from the outside looking in, or when you look at yourself as a player in the mirror, what do you constantly work on right now and feel like I need to get better here? Or is it just about I want to improve in certain situations? Are you still trying to expand that game?
I'm not trying to expand my game no more, man. I feel like I'm a vet. I think the league know what I can do.
Yeah.
Now it's just me being great at the things I do good. Whatever the situation Mike put me in, try to capitalize off those situations and try to be great in those situations because, like I say, I'm 8 years in. I'm a vet now. I know what I can do. I think the league knows what I can do. So I don't need to really show more of my game anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just me being a competitor and me upping my resume with wins.
Yeah. Malik Monk, thank you so much,
Appreciate
man.
y'all,
Hey,
man.
good
Appreciate
luck
y'all
this
for having me,
season.
man.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Good luck
Yeah.
on the golf course as well.
Yes,
don't
man.
don't
You too,
put
man.
that
You
driver
too,
in the
man.
keep it out.
Okay, I'll use it now.
Yeah.
People,
I'm
they'll
people
hide
put
it
it
in the
away,
bag.
man.
Don't
They
hide
get
it.
scared.
I ain't gonna put it up. I won't put it up.
Thanks, Malik. Have a good one, man. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, Malik. Thank you.
Great stuff from
as it sounded at the end, we were all just talking at one point in time. I'm sure Nate was trying to figure out the different levels and volumes, but it was a great time from Malik Monk, and we're really excited for what he's going to bring to the team this season. I do think that there will be some growing pains as far as where Malik fits to not start games, but at the beginning of games and also to close games. But yeah, if there's one person that seems like he is in the right headspace to do it and will do anything for the team, it is one Malik Monk. And that's a great point from Nate when Nate, you mentioned a little bit earlier about the fact that, he trusted this front office to get it done. I mean, you could sign something and they could say, hey, Malik, we thought we were going to get something done and then we didn't. Right. And I think that kind of means that deep down, look, if he thought that this team would have went further in the playoffs if he was healthy, I think that kind of means that I really, really want you to make a move, but even if you don't, I still feel like our collection would be decent enough. So maybe Malik felt like that as well. Either way, it takes some level of trust, right? And I think that says a lot about how Malik feels about the city of Sacramento, about the people of Sacramento, about the fans of the Sacramento Kings, and everything that the city stands for.
Everyone is always saying in Monty we trust, and it's kind of a meme, but I think that this offseason has proven its reality. And I think last year not doing something stupid at the deadline for the sake of doing something is in Monty we trust, right? That they're doing the right things. They're showing that they are becoming a competent franchise that is dangerous and that people will have to respect. And I think that's fantastic as a lifelong Kings fan.
Yeah, once we get a little bit closer, I do think that it's worth a conversation to have as far as, when you're driving and they say nowadays you have a blind spot, right? When you're trying to switch lanes, is there a blind spot? And maybe it's the length conversation. Maybe that's a bigger deal than we think. Maybe it's the interior defense. Maybe it's the front court defense. Is there a blind spot when I sit there and I say, hey, 46.5, that's easy cheese to me. Hey, fifth seed or staying away from the play-in, that's easy cheese to me. Is there a blind spot out there that we're just completely missing? And
Memphis?
Well, I'm just saying from the teams, how the team is constructed, not necessarily
like a major issue that
we're either glossing over. And I do, it's probably the length issue. Or maybe it's the center depth
or chemistry not being there with bringing DeMar in.
Right. Could it take a little bit? But that's what I'm saying. The Kevin Huerters of the world, the Malik Monks of the world. So when we get Chris back in here, we'll have that conversation. But who we're going to have in here, at least by phone when we return, Vic Tafur, as we discuss the Raiders. Senior writer for The Athletic, covers the Raiders and the NFL. There was media availability this morning for the Raiders, so we will talk to Vic about what Antonio Pierce had to say. And Vic put out an article, it's on The Athletic, about 3 hours ago, about where this went wrong for Davantae and the Raiders and what's next. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. Laporta's over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back.
Not going to get out to his right, being chased, throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down again.
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
It's finally starting to actually feel like fall outside. So you know what that means. Time to get to Kohl's for cozy, comfy, and cute outfits. With their friends and family sale, I saved 20% on everyday styles that I can't wait to wear all fall long. Plus Iron Kohl's Cash. But don't take my word for it. Get to Kohl's and discover fall faves for yourself. Select styles. Offers end October 6th. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com. Babbel.com.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
We are back, and we are joined, as promised, by senior writer for The Athletic, covers the Raiders and the NFL, Vic Tafur. Vic, thank you for joining us, man, on somewhat short notice, but you know that's how these things go. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, no problem. How you guys doing?
Good, man. Let's start here. As far as the Davantae Adams situation is concerned, I know you put out an article earlier today. I was reading through it, but this receiver situation, the show, and how he reacted on the show, is that what kind of got the ball rolling on the Davantae Adams maybe isn't happy thing? Because every time he's been in the media, I guess prior to that, and I was based on your article, there were definitely some issues before then, but every time he's been in the media prior to the receiver show, he's always said the right things.
For sure. I think you kind of had to also, because you're trying to get your teammates on board, and I think there's always been optimism. I mean, like last year, the way it ended with Antonio Pierce comes on, they win some games at the end, and land cigars in the locker room, and definitely there were some positive vibes going, and they were hoping that carried over to this year. But again, the receiver show, all the things that happened in the past, I just think that maybe at some point, I mean, he realized he wasn't on the same page with Antonio Pierce. I think he's had some problems going back to when he first got here, because he clearly came here to be. He was a Raider fan growing up. That's part of it. He wanted to play with Derek Carr, also part of it. But there's also a message to him that, hey, we're going to try and really make it go here and contend, and that never really happens.
Talking to Vic Tafur, senior writer for The Athletic. Vic, I saw the availability for the Raiders was this morning, and I was going through your Twitter feed. Seems like Antonio Pierce really just wasn't going for any of the questions, just very much Bill Belichick, we're on to the next city. Did anybody get anything out of him on the Davantae Adams situation?
No, I don't think we were. I think he kind of took the smart and measured approach. I'm not sure what he really can say there. Yeah, I liked the tweet. I was trolling, or no, it was a mistake, or no, it was somebody else. I don't know what he can say that makes it any better. So I think probably saying nothing is probably the best approach. I think clearly it is what it is. I mean, Davante's probably more than likely never going to play for the Raiders again, and they're going to find a trade partner. So why even talk about it at this point?
Yeah. Vic, as far as Antonio Pierce is concerned, 2-2, the AFC feels like it's a bit wide open. I know the Chiefs are undefeated, but they just continue to lose players each and every game. What is the feeling around, I guess, Raiders media and in the building? What is the feeling on Antonio Pierce right now? Does it seem like everybody's still all in?
No, I mean, I think there's some question marks. Obviously, I think he's had a rough couple of weeks. Obviously, last week with the Carolina Panthers loss, and afterwards he kind of questioned his players' effort. Sorry, my alarm's going off. And then so he questioned his players' effort, and that kind of didn't go over well in the locker room. I think it kind of put him in a bad spot where you have fans on social media trying to find videos and where this guy took a play off, and it was just a bad message. He apologized for that, and now he's liking Instagram posts, which controversial. So I just think it's a rough 2 weeks for him, and he's learning. I think the players still respond to him, but clearly this team won't be as good without Davantae Adams.
Talking to Vic Tafer, senior writer for The Athletic. Of course, Vic, everybody's firing up the trade machine out here in Sacramento. People are talking about a Brandon Ayuk for Davantae Adams deal. And we saw, I believe it was Diana Rossini, talk about the Jets, and somebody mentioned Hassan Reddick, who, Hassan Reddick, he wants to get paid. He hasn't even been playing. Off the top of your head, any realistic trade destinations for Davantae?
Well, the Niners thing would have been good before Ayuk signed, but now that he's signed, I think that's not really doable because it'd be like the Niners have like an $18 million cap hit, plus you got to pay Davantae going forward. So I'm not sure that's doable. But that would have been a great swap, a month ago, 2 months ago. And you hear a lot of stuff about Aaron Rodgers and Jets and Derek Carr and the Saints, but my sleeper team is the Cowboys. I think the Cowboys are made like a push. I think they could use them. That's kind of it gets off of him as far as being, in the attention again, and also being on a good team.
Vic, one more for you. As this domino falls, I think there are some Raider fans out there that are a little bit worried that there's another cornerstone piece that might get moved. If the Davantae Adams thing does happen, and it sounds like based on what you're saying and what we're hearing, it will, how safe would you say Max Crosby is?
I think he's pretty safe. I think he's a guy who he wants to be a Raider for life, and everybody says that. But I think I know he kind of threatened to leave if Pierce wasn't brought back. But I think he's kind of their centerpiece. He's kind of the face of the franchise, and he's signed for a long time. And I think the hope for him is the defense can get better and kind of lead this team through this tough time. But I don't see Max going anywhere at all.
That is good news if you are a Raider fan. Thank you to Vic Tafer, senior writer for The Athletic, covers the Raiders and the NFL. Vic, thank you so much, man. We got to talk to you soon.
All right, bud. Take care.
That was Vic Tafer, senior writer for The Athletic. Great stuff from Vic. The Cowboys, just with the little, this is why I love interviews, because it's at the very end where you just never know, going from media day, when we talked to Mike Brown about the 2-guard position, and now talking to Vic, the very end. Now he's just saying he just is a sleeper team. There's nothing official there, but it makes a lot of sense, right? You just paid Dak, you paid CeeDee, and you're throwing to Tolbert and whatever's left of Brandon Cooks. They do need somebody else. And now CeeDee can still be your number one, and you have an opportunity to put Davantae Adams in a situation where he's the most elite, deadly number 2 receiver. I mean, I know it's a cliche, but the 1A, 1B thing could be real. I know a name, and if she calls this, I mean, she already is doing really well for herself. But if she calls this, that would be something. That would be something incredible. But I believe we played sound from Mina Kimes about a month, maybe 2 months ago, where she said if the Commanders start cooking, they might look to just go all in again, make Davantae Adams that elite number 2 or number 1 to Scary Terry's number 1 or number 2 if Jaden Daniels looks like the real deal. And everything she has said has happened. So those NFC East teams, a lot of them are missing that secondary receiver. So who would be willing to go all in? And if you got to strike while the iron's hot, and if you are the Commanders, and if he doesn't go to the Cowboys, the Cowboys, kind of a mess. The Eagles, kind of a mess. And the Eagles, they got their 2 wide receivers, even though they can't stay on the field at the same time. So if you're the Commanders, you see an opportunity there to come out of nowhere and be the hot team and snatch some hearts, right? In this game, you don't really have time to waste. Now, we know Jaden Daniels is, especially if you're going after Davantae Adams, who turns 32 on Christmas Eve. So Vic Tafer, senior writer for The Athletic, says don't sleep on the Cowboys when it comes to the Davantae Adams sweepstakes. And yeah, as I was reading through Vic's article, essentially ever since Derek Carr, they moved off of Derek Carr, this has been bad. And in the article, he talks about Davantae Adams was already getting a bit, not sick of the situation, but his patience was growing thin when they signed Jimmy Garoppolo. And then Jimmy Garoppolo was terrible, and that's what we saw on the receiver. And then after that, the Gardner Minshew thing, I think Davantae Adams at that point just didn't think it was going to go well. it's not that it's gone horribly, but I don't think that he thinks they're going to truly contend. And when you lose to a Panthers team, I mean, they could be 3. Are we having this conversation if they're 3-1 right now? Right? Maybe not, but that's not the situation. Coming up next, top stories at the top of the hour. Thanks again to Vic Tafer. We will be right back. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
O'Reilly. Need a little help? O'Reilly Auto Parts can help. Need advice? We've got advice. No matter what you need, we have thousands of professional parts people doing their part to make sure you have it. Exceptional customer service. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. The professional parts people.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
At Fisher Investments, we may seem like other money managers, but we're different.
Are you really that different than the rest of us?
We are. As a fiduciary, we always focus on what's best for our clients.
What services do you offer besides investing?
We have a team of specialists in financial planning, estate planning, and more.
Your clients rely on you for all that?
Yes, we ensure clients receive unparalleled service at every step of the relationship.
Okay, but you still sell commission-based products, right?
No, because we believe that's a conflict of interest. We prioritize service over sales goals.
So then how do your fees work?
We have a simple and transparent fee that's a percentage of our clients' portfolios. So we do better when our clients do better.
Wow, we're more different than I thought.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com. Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop is your unsurpassed spot to find the hottest golf gear, best pricing, and elite expertise. Every club on the shelves can be tried for free on the driving range. 3 TrackMan units and a Hagen Oaks team of skilled fitting professionals provide the finest club fitting experience. Our personable Super Shop staff will show you the newest to help you look and play your best. You love golf. The Hagen Oaks team loves golf too. Hagen Oaks Golf Super Shop, Fulton Avenue at Business 80. Learn more at hagenoaks.com or 916-481-GOLF.
What sets Ashton & Price apart from other injury law firms? I'll tell you. From beginning to end, all important legal decisions are made directly between our clients and their experienced local attorney. A gate agent flying the plane, the receptionist performing surgery, not a chance. There's simply no substitute for the unique power of the direct attorney-client relationship offered by Ashton & Price. And there's never a fee until we win, and between you and me, we win a lot.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kip Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kip Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
When shopping for a new car, what do you want? A great selection? A low monthly payment? More for your trade? At Northern California's #1 Honda dealer, Stockton Honda, you get it all.
Model year-end savings are going on now. It's savings you just can't say no to.
Come in today or go to StocktonHonda.com.
Anytime, anywhere, it's all here. StocktonHonda.com.
#1 claims based on 2023 total new and Honda certified pre-owned vehicle car sales from American Honda Motor Company. Sold on report.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
Thanks once again to Vic Tafer, senior writer of The Athletic. And a lot of good nuggets there. Apparently, Davantae Adams was trying to play nice. Maybe, just maybe, Nate, maybe he used the receiver situation, the show, to just let people know, like, I'm not going to be here. If you act like that, right, I'm not going to be here. My plan is not to be here. At least I think he was either trying to get traded during the offseason or trade me before the trade deadline. Maybe if you act like that, there's no going back.
How does it not leak out, though, that he was trying to get traded in the offseason? How is there no, like, big story? That stuff always leaks
Every
out.
time he was and that's why I felt like I don't have obviously, Davantae Adams, Bay Area guy, so he's good in my book. But that's why the conversation is, should he have stood on business more? And if you knew this was coming out,
that's what every other receiver does.
Right. If you knew this was coming
every
out,
other player does
then
that.
just say, because then you would have been able to maybe start the season with the Jets if you had stood on business.
Yeah, now you get traded in the middle of the season, and usually nothing good comes from that.
Right.
Like, so
your options are limited as to where you can go.
Yeah, I think, because cap space is already, like, look at Malik Monk. He did it early with the Kings, and they were able to figure out their stuff when it came to cap space. So, like, if they got this figured out before the season starts, moves could have been made for more moves to be made. And now a lot of teams are locked into their position and what they can do asset-wise.
I don't have a problem with you being the nice guy, but if you knew you weren't really the nice guy on the show that was coming out, then you can't play it both ways.
I don't think he was a bad guy. I think he's just showing frustration on the field with how the game's going.
Right, but I think maybe his goal was, if as this comes out, it will lead to us getting a real QB, and then they got Gardner Minshew. And then that's where it was.
I think that's a little too far of a stretch for me. I think that's pretty.
You think he's just reacting
now?
No. I don't think.
No. Okay, so you're saying that he knew receiver was going to come out like this. He knew how it was going to be portrayed.
A camera's around you.
Yeah, so he played it up.
No. I'm not saying no. I'm not saying he played it up. I'm saying that most athletes hide how they're feeling more because they don't want to stir anything up. I think that he didn't play it up. He was just, this is how I'm feeling.
Yeah, and let it come out.
And maybe this will lead to something, and it led to Gardner Minshew.
Okay, that's more believable, but I don't think that. I think it's more of a he didn't care.
Because it's the same OBJ conversation versus Tom Brady showing up it's all about showing up your teammates. You never want to show up your teammates.
Are you talking about when OBJ punch the net or whatever?
Sure, yes.
And he's trying to get out of his situation, but you can't really half step that stuff. And if that's the case, it seems like Davante's half stepping, and
that's what I said that's what I said to start the segment, though.
Yeah.
If you're going to go all in, just go all in.
100%. I think he should have requested a trade before the season started. I think this is horrible timing.
Once you knew that Gardner Minshew was going to be your guy, because that happened fairly early.
It didn't matter. The Raiders weren't going to have a quarterback situation, a good one, figured out.
He wanted Tom. Which, Tom he's calling the Niner game this weekend, by the way. All right. Let's get to, it keeps getting better. Let's get to our top stories. Nate's saying stop
stories.
Yeah.
I'm telling that to Debo and Micah. That's what I'm saying. Stop stories.
Top stories at the bottom of the hour. This one is from our sister station, Arizona Sports. Shout out Bonneville. They tell Burns and Gambo, that is the Diamondbacks owner Ken Kendrick, says he's to blame for the team signing Jordan Montgomery. Here's the audio, and some people like the honesty. Some people think it's kind of a bad look. Here it is.
Signing Jordan Montgomery and Erod. I'll stick with Montgomery because Erod was hurt for a lot of the year, and we didn't get to see him in a full season. But Jordan Montgomery was $25 million, and he pitched to an ERA well over 6 and got demoted to the bullpen. How disappointed are you in that signing?
Let me say it the best way I can say it. If anyone wants to blame anyone for Jordan Montgomery being a Diamondback, you're talking to the guy that should be blamed. Because I brought it to their attention. I pushed for it. They agreed to it. It wasn't in our game plan. When he was signed right at the end of spring training. And looking back, in hindsight, a horrible decision to have invested that money in a guy that performed as poorly as he did. It's our biggest mistake this season from a talent standpoint.
So, as you know, the Diamondbacks missed the playoffs with the Mets and Braves both winning in that bizarre doubleheader where they celebrated. Yeah, I saw you, Nate, make a couple, kind of a shrug. It's not about him being incorrect. It's about, can you say that Jordan Montgomery's still on the team?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Okay. So
he just signed the deal. So is it okay? You can't say that when you just signed the contract.
Here's what I like. I like that he owned up to it and personally held himself accountable. I think that is incredibly important and a great move. What I don't like is that he had so much influence on signing the talent. He's the owner of the team, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So that I'm one of those guys that doesn't think the owner should have influence on personnel. Like they should have like a significant influence. I'll say that. Maybe a little bit here and there, say a couple things like, hey, what does the owner think? But if the owner is like, no, we're doing this, I hate that. I think the owner should be hiring the people to make those decisions. The owner should just be Jerry Jones, then make yourself the GM, make yourself the president of football or baseball operations.
Mm-hmm.
And then owning up to it is great. But now I think he needs to take this lesson and go, all right, I'm done. I shouldn't make those calls anymore.
Yeah, I'm looking here. This is from Bleacher Report during an appearance Tuesday on the Burns and Gambo show. Kendrick lamented the decision to sign pitcher Jordan Montgomery to a 2-year, $47.5 million deal. So, yeah, obviously it looks here, Nate, then this is interesting because baseball can just be a little bit confusing, but it looks here like technically, and I don't to get into the weeds, but basically it says he can opt out of 2025 with 10 starts in 2024. I don't even know if he got to 10, but yeah, he's an unrestricted free agent in 2026. So yes, for all intents and purposes, he is going to be back with the Diamondbacks. And it's not a great look. It's not that he said anything that he doesn't believe in, but that guy, and to say nobody else wanted to sign him, but I did. So now Jordan Montgomery's thinking, well, who in the world believes in me there? So yeah, kind of a rough situation for the Diamondbacks. Next, this is a good call from the Jazz. The Jazz announced they will be selling concession food at the Delta Center for reduced prices this season. Great move by owner Ryan Smith.
Just trying to get people in the seats.
Yeah. I mean, but we've always talked about that. When your team is bad, not that any team would ever do it, when your team is bad, you should lower prices. I know the resale and those prices go down, but on food and on everything.
This really is a political show. This is capitalism, Alan.
Yeah, I'm getting away from it. All right. Fan-friendly concessions, Dasani bottled water, $2, box of popcorn, $3, nachos, $3, hot dogs, $3, and Farr's ice cream, $3.
Farr's ice cream, what's that?
It's got to be Utah thing.
We got to head out there. Utah has all the sweets, too. When I was there, they got drive-through soda places and stuff. If you like sweets, it's the place to be.
Small bit of news here for the Niners because they need more wide receivers. Niners re-signing T.O.'s son, Tariq Owens. He famously had some rough film where it looked like his cuts weren't as precise as one would imagine they would be. But
he's no Brandon Ayuk.
But he is no technician like Ayuk. Looks like he's figured some things out and started to look really good for the Niners. People thought there might be a shout for him to hang around, but he is getting another opportunity. So shout out to Tariq Owens. Nate, the NCAA. Next, the NCAA officially announced the return of March Madness to Sacramento. It's the place to be now, Nate. The Golden One Center.
It's happening so fast.
Oh, so fast. The Golden One Center is set to host the first and second rounds of the 2027 Men's Division I College Basketball Championships in 2027. So not this coming March Madness. Actually, in 2 years.
Yes.
So it's not this one, not the next one, but the one after that. Because March Madness will be
already happened this year.
Yes, March Madness will be in 2025, then the next one in 2026.
Yeah.
So in basically 2-3 years, we will see some March Madness in Sacramento.
That's great. I love it. It's so awesome. Just get it here. Get it going here. I'm so excited with all the Sacramento local sports stuff being, kind of breaking into the mainstream. I just a little off topic here, but I'm so excited for the Causeway Classic this year.
Okay.
Davis is looking pretty good. I believe they're 4-1 right now.
Yeah.
Sac State not living up to the not the hype. They're just not great. But I think it's going to be a lot of fun in Sacramento. I will be there. Just it's great.
Yeah.
Don't have much more to say.
There you go. And last but not least, here is Shams on the Pat McAfee Show for when we will see Bronny and Bron. Here it is.
The Lakers, LeBron James and Bronny James, obviously, that we saw that finally that duo yesterday. I would expect them to make their debut together the opening week of the NBA season, possibly opening night from what I'm told. And Bronny James will spend a lot of time on the active roster. Yes, once the G League season starts, he's going to be shuttling back and forth with the G League. But this is there's not like you're only going to be in the G League. This is something for Bronny James. We're going to see him shuttle back and forth.
It's so funny because I thought we were told Bronny wasn't playing G League.
This is so stupid.
I thought Bronny wasn't playing G League.
And this is so well, now that he's on the Lakers, he'll play G League. But it's just like we're having Shams breaking this like the 10th guy on the roster if he'll get minutes with LeBron James. And I know they're related, but it's like we might see it opening night.
Oh, we're going to see it opening night because they want to get it out the way. Because what's going to happen is now Bron is going to go back into PR mode and say, I don't want this to be a distraction.
You got him figured out.
So now, yes, this is where we are.
Interesting.
We talk about it. We love it. We want some more of it, but we're going to get it out the way so it's not a distraction. That's exactly what LeBron is going to do. All right, coming up next, what will Whitey, Kevin, Michael Gleason do? We never know. Whitey of the Drive Guys joins us for some crosstalk to end the show. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Keegan Murray plays here.
Keegan scores another three-pointer. Keegan Murray knocking it down for 23 points. Match De'Aaron Fox for game scoring honors.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Carmichael Dave here from my good friends at American Energy. Cool weather, if not cold weather, is in our future. You know that. It'll eventually get there, and American Energy wants to make sure your system is operating safely and properly. So now is the time to take advantage of the $49 fall tune-up inspection. That's regularly $119, but includes a full safety and duct inspection. And if your system's over 10 years old, it's free. The tune-up is on American Energy. Give them a call right now. They're offering $50 off your first recommended repair, or if you need a new furnace, that's half off the price of a new unit. American Energy been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You can check them out at theaeway.com for an instant quote. That's theaeway.com. Tell them Carmichael Dave sent you.
Call 916-520-9998 now. She's meet me on
Khalid, live in concert. See him performing at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. Get tickets now at ThunderValleyResort.com. Don't miss the sensational Khalid for one night only at the venue at Thunder Valley, Saturday, October 5th. For more, visit KhalidOfficial.com.
Increase leads and get more customers. We create tailored digital marketing strategies that deliver results. On your next campaign, aim higher. Go to aimyourdigital.com and get started today. aimyourdigital.com.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
When Jay Johnson busts in the room, you know there's some news, and there is some news to end our show. Stiles and Watkins. Chris should be back tomorrow. And to start the Drive Guys with Whitey Gleason and Kyle Draper, this is from Chris Haynes 5 minutes ago, hot off the press. Sources: Sacramento Kings have offered to host Sacramento State University's men's and women's basketball conference home games at Golden One Center, pending arena availability. as part of the school's effort to join the Pac-12 or other FBS conferences. Now, if we go back to that checklist, I would assume they've already hit the $50 million, maybe more than that for the NIL. They have the funding now for the football stadium. And now the basketball stadium, that was another part of the checklist. And now, Whitey, I guess that's now checked because you don't need to build an arena anymore?
Well, obviously, it depends on the details.
Right.
You know, do they have to pay to play there? Or are you just offering it free?
He offered the River Cats for free.
Yeah, but he owns them.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, I don't know.
Here's the
maybe that's it. Like you can use it if there's other things they got to figure out. Then there's not a done deal yet. But that'd be my first question.
Yeah, Chris Haynes. Yeah, a minute later. This is a major hurdle cleared by Sac State. They have a new football stadium in the works, a huge NIL commitment, over $35 million. And thanks to the Sacramento Kings, now have a world-class basketball facility to warrant admittance into an FBS conference. Huge news.
It does sound like the tone of it is you can come here and play here, right?
Yeah, we're not going to charge you.
Yeah.
I don't know. My mom did that after college, and I had to pay to come back home.
She rented out the garage for you or something?
No, it was in my own room.
Oh, okay.
My parents, they got me that way. So you never know. We'll keep an eye on it. But
what do you think? Mountain West, here we come.
Jay's the guy for that. Jay's been all over this. He's the one who let us know that Chris Haynes broke this news. I'm confused here. When you list off who's in the Pac-12 beforehand, let's not to be disrespectful, but when you're naming off Cal, UCLA, USC, all the schools, and then you say Sac State, it didn't really sound the same. But now I know there are state schools representing states, but not saying you got what? Utah State.
Right. The Pac-12 isn't close to what it used to be.
It's not your grandfather's Pac-12. So I'm wondering why they can't get into the Pac-12.
When my grandfather was right, I think it was the Pac-6.
The Pac-8?
Yeah, I think it was even before that. Yeah. It used to be the Pac-6.
We're the Pac-6?
Yeah.
Cal?
I'm not sure they were.
Stanford?
Mm-hmm.
USC, by the way,
UCLA.
We had a long conversation yesterday, probably longer than we should have at this time of the year, about Sac State and possibly rebranding it. Okay, so I have a little trivia for you. So basically the question was asked, well, why can't we call Sac State Cal State? Just Cal State, right? And then the question was asked, well, how come Cal can get called Cal? That's because Cal was the first one. Do you know what was the first state school in California?
No, I would just be guessing, but I would guess, I don't know, I guess Cal State, Los Angeles.
Nope. Jay got it right. He mouthed it. It was San Jose State.
Oh, okay.
So if anybody was to want we are Cal State, if you did want that, I guess San Jose State would have those rights. If that's it, I don't even know if those rights exist, but somebody said, could Sac State rebranding Sac State help them? And then that's what gave us the conversation of, I mean, if I'm listening to Colorado State and Utah State and San Diego State, I don't hear Sac State and think, oh, that doesn't fit.
Sac is lit. So this is Sacramento. You know who said that? That's wasn't that
who?
The former Milwaukee Buck that gets in trouble all the time with the podcast. Come on.
Brandon Jennings, Gilbert Arenas?
No, the guy that threw the basketball at somebody.
Oh, you're talking about Patrick Beverly.
Yeah, I don't know why I can't think of his name.
Patrick
Yeah,
Beverly.
he's the one that said Sac is lit.
He's always talking about
the
Kings these days.
Yeah.
So
Paul George says, didn't he say they got a movement going on?
Yeah. Hey, Nate, can you cut that Sac is lit, please, from Whitey? I just want to use it because Chris isn't going to believe it. Chris is out today.
I was quoting Patrick Beverly.
It doesn't matter,
I was
though.
being ironic.
It doesn't matter because I keep catching people now. I'm the cut master. So last week had Emil on. And I I was hybrid trolling about Travis Hunter. And I got Emil to say, Niners should trade for Travis Hunter. And we just cut
tank. You said tank for
tank for Travis Hunter. And we caught him. So
that cuts both ways, Alan. So just be careful. You want to play that game?
Oh, no, that's not. I'm just trying to make things even. There's too many.
You want to play that game, Alan?
No, there's too many of those cuts going around. If you're just now joining us, Sac State has been offered the opportunity to play at the Golden One Center for their men's and women's basketball as they attempt to get into the FBS, whether it's Pac-12 or the Mountain West. We just got off the phone with Vic Tafer, who was leaving the Raiders practice.
Sure that's how you say his name?
We're going to do this on air? Yes. I'm sure.
You struggled with it yesterday a little
No,
bit.
I didn't. I was confirming. I was.
Good job.
Thank you. I was.
So what's going on? He's talking about Davantae Adams?
So he put out an article that I was reading through, and basically once Jimmy Garoppolo, even when Jimmy Garoppolo got there, Davantae was already annoyed, and or his patience was running thin. Obviously, it didn't work out with Jimmy, so he tried to play the game the right way, no pun intended. And then with Gardner going into this season, I think he knew the receiver stuff was going to look a certain way for the Netflix show. And yeah, things were going on long before the alleged liked post from Antonio Pierce. But a lot of people are bringing up where Davantae should go. Vic left us with a name that I hadn't really thought about, but would make sense because it would definitely accelerate their situation. Vic said, don't sleep on the Dallas Cowboys, as everybody is talking about the New York
today
Jets.
says the Jets and the Cowboys are involved.
They get, so interesting. Does it matter who's 1 and 2? If the Cowboys get Davantae Adams, does it matter? Hey, CeeDee Lamb's our number 1 and Davante's our number 2. Does it matter?
Probably matters to them, but I think what matters more is the fact that they're actually struggling more on the what I call the other side of the football.
Yeah, well, that's because Micah Parsons too busy podcasting with Eagles players than actually being.
You didn't like that?
I hated it. Nate didn't mind it.
It's interesting, Philly.
No. Excuse me. Nate hated the content.
Yeah,
but Nate didn't mind, I guess, the idea of them doing it.
I hate it all. I'll just say that. I'll put that on record. I hate it all. We could just do that.
I can't wait to talk to Drapes about that because he's obviously an Eagles guy and Philly fans, as you can imagine, a lot of them.
Oh, they were ticked off.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're irate.
Yeah. Yeah, and they should be. But, Debo with Amon-Ra St. Brown, this is a great time, Whitey. This is a great time.
The sack is lit.
Speaking of sack, we replayed the Mike Brown interview that we did, and Mike Brown, towards the end of it, we focused a lot of people focused on the 2 position, but I remembered when I reheard the interview that I asked him about the 4 position, and that is a situation where he did say we don't have a clue. So I can't wait to talk to Brendan and Frankie and see, are they rotating Keegan and DeMar DeRozan? How does that look? Because that was one where he was pretty open during our interview, and go check that on YouTube if you haven't seen it. He literally just said, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, it's going to vary night to night, right? The matchups. So it's not so much, this is our 4 and this is our 3. It's like, who are we playing tonight? Who do they have in the front court? All right.
Right.
So you have to adjust to them unless they do something with the roster, which doesn't look like they're in any hurry to do.
No, I don't think so. And where are you at with trade deadline moves? I think that the prices are always skyrocketed, and Nate keeps joking. We didn't talk about politics, but we were politics adjacent today.
So political.
No, it definitely is. But I just think that prices just skyrocket during trade deadlines, and I don't know, man. I don't like them.
Yeah, it depends who's available. And you're right. The prices have been sky high. Who's available? And also you have this stretch here between now, the start of the season, and the trade deadline to see how this all fits. Your hand may be forced. If one of those issues you're talking about, 2 guard, I think they got that figured out. But if it's the power forward position, if they realize, we need help there, maybe they're going to have to go out and do something at the deadline.
Monte McNair was on with the morning show, but really the clip that I think we spent more time talking about is when he was asked about the depth, specifically against the wing depth and the length issue specifically against the Pelicans. His answer, he talks about how they went out and got Jalen McDaniels, but then he also mentions that other teams are going to have to match what we do, almost insinuating that, I guess, speed over length or speed over size, whatever it is. And a lot of people are saying, I was reading the comments on the post, and a lot of people were saying, So you didn't address it, right? And you go out and Trey Lyles injured again to start the season. We've seen this movie before, and you're talking about McDaniels, who we really don't know what we're going to get. Toronto fans very happy to hand him over. Do you think that they are overlooking the issue and just hoping that they get by?
Nah, I mean, I doubt that, because they're obviously very serious about this, and they've made some really impressive moves. There is a lot, you're a Warrior fan, right? You used to be. I guess I'm not supposed to say that, wink, wink. Alan's not a Warrior fan. But, a few years ago, even, when they won their last championship in 22,
Sure.
I think we were both down there. And all season long, people were talking about they're too small. They're too small. You can't win. They're too small. People were focused more on the center position. But, they didn't have a lot of size, but they were great at forcing other teams' bigs off the floor by making threes.
Yeah.
So I think that's what their plan is. A lot of it is, okay, but they got to match up with us too.
Right.
To your point.
And I think the issue last season was you didn't have that length, but the matchup, there weren't any matchup issues, no disrespect to Harrison Barnes, but there weren't any matchup issues on the other side that they had to worry about. So it was, you got to match us, and we're not really worried about what you guys have going on. So maybe they're saying our offense is going to be so good that more teams are going to be worried about us than we're worried about them. Last season, they were just kind of
They just got to
in the
make
middle.
more shots. They took, and I know I've said this a million times, they took the third most threes in the whole league behind Boston and Dallas, and they were 16th in percentage. So they got to make more free throws and make more threes. They got to shoot the ball better.
Yeah, they got to shoot the ball better. And I think that even though DeMar DeRozan doesn't shoot threes a ton, that doesn't mean he's not going to be able to space the floor, right? It's not like he doesn't have a jump. He's not Ben Simmons out there, who, by the way, did you see
Ben's ready to go.
Did you see that? I'm so sick. I'm so sick of that, man.
That's how you know it's October. It's like baseball playoffs, and Ben Simmons is healthy again.
Yeah, I saw somebody say the Suns should go get Ben Simmons. He could be their Draymond.
If he's healthy, yes. Teams should be getting him.
He was like the hot version of Draymond for, what was that, maybe 5 years ago.
That's
now
why the Warriors didn't get him. They thought they were too similar.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that they did think that, because I don't think he's played since they had those conversations. But Whitey Gleason is about to have a nice conversation with Kyle Draper the whole time. There you go. Both of you play nice. We don't want to hear about anything else. The Drive Guys coming up next. Thank you to Nate holding it down without Chris Watkins. He should be back tomorrow. Thank you to Vic Tafer. Congrats to our winner, Sergio, of the Mike Epps tickets. Thanks
Feel
to
better,
all the
Chris.
Callers, texters, sack chatters. Jay Johnson, breaking news for us as well. You'll hear from him during the Drive Guys as well. Until tomorrow, secure the bag. Like the bean.
The sack is lit.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?